Yeah, what's up?
Wait, how is Renoir selfish?
Renoir is selfish because he recognizes everyone in the canvas to be sentient people, but then at the same time, he chose his own family over like a bunch of like
Oh, so you don't
sentient
mean they're
people.
selfish. You're just tautologically defining your answer as being the only one, and then everything works as selfish as a result of that.
No. Also, like you didn't know a lot of things. Like I feel like it's so crazy to me that you play through the entire game and you lacked so much basic reading comprehension. Because if I was going through the entire game and I was constantly asking myself, well, there was no point to any of that subplot. There was no point to any of that side story. There was no point. Then I would like relook, like I would take another look at the way that I've been interpreting things, and I'll be like, oh wait, I need to change the way that I think, right? Maybe I've been interpreting this thing like entirely wrong, right? But like you just go like, okay, well, I'm gonna settle with my conclusion and I'm
Wait,
gonna
what's
work
an
my way
example of
backwards
that?
from there. Yeah, sure. So, you didn't know what was the point of like Lune's and CL's backstory, when you go like, oh yeah, but all
What am
these
I
people are
saying when
fake,
I what
right?
am I saying? What am I saying when I say I don't know what the point of this is? What am I saying when I'm saying that?
I don't know. You're incoherent. What was your point?
Try to reach deep inside and try to think. What am I saying when I
Okay.
say that?
Well, I think that's a cope because you can't even comprehend it yourself. You can't even like analyze it from your own perspective. So I can't get it. Okay, it's a cope. That's a cope. You don't even you
You
don't
think
you,
it
you,
just
you
you
don't
think
even know what you're talking about, in my opinion.
you
But
think what
yeah.
I'm physically saying is like I didn't understand CL having a husband and swimming to drown. I didn't understand what that meant. You think that's what I literally meant?
I think that okay, what did that mean? Like what story purpose do you think that's served? Just curious.
When I say I don't know what it when I say I didn't think this mattered,
Mm-hmm.
what I
Yeah.
mean is that I don't think that the media paid enough attention to that theme or subplot for it to be
Okay,
a
sure.
relevant thing for
Okay,
the
sure.
consumer to consider by the
Yeah,
end. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
the lowest IQ way to consume media
Mm-hmm.
is to look at every single part and extrapolate and read into and fill all of your own stuff in, because at that point any media can be anything. I think it's more interesting to take what the artist has given you and then to consider what that is.
Sure.
So
I
one of my
agree with
criticisms
you.
is I don't think there was
I
enough
Yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
given to the
I
people on their own,
Sure.
absent Verso or Mael, who have real life kind of like traces to reality. I don't think there's enough time given to just the people in the canvas to truly flesh out or develop anything that would make you feel a way about them, aside from just consequences of everybody's painting shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I disagree that that applies to me.
That applies to you?
Yeah, because you're implying that it applies to me. You're saying that, oh yeah, I'm
No, I'm saying that's what I
extrapolating
meant when I.
meaning from meaningless situations and shit. I disagree with that. I think there's plenty of like I can concede to you
Is there
easily,
a
and I agree
single
with you
scene
easily
in
that
is there a
um
single scene in the entire game that shows Ciel or Lune with their family? No, I don't think so, is it? Don't
no.
you just
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
about them
yeah,
in a
but
few
we don't disagree. We don't
exposition.
Yeah, yeah, but we don't disagree on this because I agree with you that the director could have done better, right?
Then you just agree with me. And that's my point.
Yeah, but we don't disagree on that specifically. You're taking a disagreement that we never even had a disagreement on.
That's what I mean when I say I don't know what the point was in them
Yeah.
talking about like her husband or whatever, because they don't pay enough attention to this for it to matter. Like it seems like not like I don't know what the point is for.
Yeah, but, well, they haven't done the best job, but that doesn't mean you can't glean any kind of meaning off of it. Like you can't glean any kind of meaning off of it. No, you can still glean meaning off of something that is half-assed.
Okay.
Okay, basically, you're thinking in clair obscur. It is black or white, right? You're thinking in,
No,
um,
not at all.
no, but that's the entire point of the game. It's clair obscur. It's black or white, but you kind of represent that in a very artistic way, in a way. I think, and I think that's wonderful.
Okay.
I think people should be allowed to have wrong opinions and be retarded on E33 takes, and I'm glad that you exist because you have lots of opinions. All of them are wrong. Anna has the wrong opinion. She's actually more evil in a way, like because she recognizes they're all sentient and she is okay with killing all of them for the sake of the family. So it's like whatever, man. All right,
Do you think all
but
the
you know
people
what?
on the canvas have free will?
Yeah, yes, yes,
What
yes.
would happen if they were to all do things that Maya wouldn't want?
Then Maya would paint over them. Maybe.
So how is that free will?
Well, it would be free will except you're subservient to a god, right? Like, do we argue that anybody in Greek mythology has a lack of free will just simply because the gods can just simply force them to do whatever the fuck they wanted? No, all the fucking Homer like stories all display that mortals were capable of so much more, of fighting gods, of like surpassing them, right? Otherwise, what's the point of going any mortal story ever if it's just the gods? Like, there's no point. You're taking away the
Okay,
meaning.
so
You're
I don't
taking
know
away the
what Greek
artistic meaning
mythology
of
that
it.
you read, but
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
they fought with the gods, but the gods didn't just control them all. It wasn't like they fought with the gods. Like I don't know I don't know what you mean to say by that. The gods didn't control them or just wipe them away if they didn't do exactly what they wanted to. The gods didn't create people as a self-serving thing to just like appease their own ends and to be their little puppets.
What are
That's
you
literally
talking
what Mile
about?
does.
No, it doesn't. Okay, where? Sorry, can you remind me how the humans came about in Greek mythology?
I don't know.
Because I
Didn't fucking
legitimately
Athena
forgot.
fuck Zeus's eyes or whatever, and they came out of fucking his
Okay, probably
pregnant
not
belly or some
that.
bullshit?
Yeah. So even though the origin of it doesn't even matter all that much, right? Because it
We're not talking
also
about the origin
depends
of it. We're
on
talking about the relationship
sure.
with it. Everybody in the
Yeah, yeah,
canvas
yeah.
exists
That's
to
what I'm talking
please
about. That's what I'm talking
Mael.
about. Okay, you're just interrupting me because you know you're wrong. So the in Greek mythology, okay, the reason why the gods are like seen in such a critical light is because they constantly play with the mortals' lives. And you know this, I know this, we all know this, Asmongold reference, okay? Is that when it came to the Greek gods, like for example, the Golden Apple, the Trojan War,
None of this is
in
going to
addition
apply. I
to
don't. There's no point in going
okay,
through any
all
of
right,
this. None of this applies.
Athena versus
Being in
Arachne,
conflict with
yeah.
being in conflict with humans is
Mhm.
not the same as just controlling them. Humans were not created
What
and
are you
then
talking
controlled
about?
by.
Throughout all of Greek mythology, it's all about the theme of the Greek gods trying to control humans, right? That's like the entire point of all the Greek mythology is that they're selfishly trying to control humans for their own ends and their own pleasures and their own vanity, right? That's the entire point. Why else would Zeus go on and rape like 50 women as a fucking swan? Like, yeah.
That's Zeus wouldn't need to rape women if he was Mael. He would just force them to want to have sex with him. That's the difference. The gods exist as like sometimes adversarial, sometimes friendly, but they're just a different thing that occupies a similar realm. And Mael, everybody's world is created to please her.
Okay, how is it possible that like in E33, they were able to defeat like an actual like fucking like you can't. Okay, oh yeah, somebody brought this up. Someone brought this up, and it's such a fucking good point. Holy shit, you're so wrong. When Gustav has his Lumina converter, okay, how is it that Gustav's Lumina converter was allowed to be made if the Descenders were such gods in the sense that they were all consuming and prevented any kind of invention that could be used against themselves? Right? It's only with Gustav's Lumina converter that they were able to get that far. I mean, if they knew that it was that dangerous, right, that allowed mortals to transcend that much, like they would have let it be made in the first place. So that they have omnipresence or some shit, right?
Wait, do you think the Lumina converter is the reason why they were able to succeed?
I mean, did you go through the game with or without the Lumina converter?
With the Lumina converter?
Exactly. Like even
What
canonically,
you understand the reason why
even if you
you
go through the
understand the
game,
reason why they were able
yeah.
to succeed is because Verso wanted them to, right? Like the
And
only
who is
reason they were able
Verso?
to defeat
Okay,
it.
curious. Well, who is Verso? He's painted, right?
You sure? From the mom?
Yeah, he's painted. Yes. Like he is technically still a painted one, right? However, at the same time, he's been giving superpowers. He's like a mutant, right? He's like a superpowered X-Men mutant, right? But he could be painted over easily to do whatever the fuck anybody wants, right?
I
Why
don't know
didn't
if it
that
was easy
happen?
to paint over the
Was he
painted
just
family
simply
members.
given free will to do what he
What do you?
wants against his
No,
own
hold on.
mom?
Wait. I'm just saying that the original
Yeah.
point that you brought up, the only reason they were able to succeed wasn't because of Gustav's fucking invention. It was because Verso wanted them to succeed.
Sure. And who
Like he
is
showed up and
Verso? Yeah, but then the question then becomes who is Verso, right? Verso is painted. How is he able to transcend that?
yeah, but
How is he
Verso
able to defy that?
Verso is working against everybody else in the painted world. He kind of stands on his own, right? He literally is the one at the end encouraging Mael to leave.
Yeah, and I wonder how he is able to do that, right? He's painted. He transcends, he defies the will of the paintress. That's the entire
And
point
what
as
happens
well.
if you choose
You
Mael's
you
ending? If you choose Mael's ending, what happens to Verso?
Verso grows old.
No, Mael repaints him, rewrites him.
he's not shown as painted. He doesn't display any of the facial features of being painted over. And nor does Mael. And you
Wait,
clearly
wait,
lack
wait. You
so
think
much.
that
You
Verso?
lack reading comprehension. No, you lack reading comprehension because it's clearly stated in the story that Mael lacks the ability to paint over things, and Clay is the only one that can paint over shit.
Doesn't she regain that ability when she does the whole thing at the fucking end of the game?
You mean the one where painted Verso was guiding her hand? Again, assisted by a painted one.
I don't understand. So do you think that at the end of the game, when
Yeah.
Verso is willing to die and throw away everything to have his sister go back to the real world,
Yeah.
and you choose Miles' ending, you think he's just happy with that and he's okay with it? She doesn't control him at all there?
I think that's a subliminal like threat kind of thing where like obviously if Verso were to go crazy, right? Like if Verso is still like a super mutant, I'm assuming. I don't know like how he is in Mayo's ending. But if he were to go rogue and fucking start killing everyone, like of course Mayo is gonna push the red button and do something crazy, right? Of course. But to me that doesn't matter because everyone else gets to live, right? It doesn't matter. I would rather have people be in slavery than have
No, no,
everyone
I'm not going
dead.
that. That's
That's
fine, but they're not
ridiculous.
people. They're not
Yeah.
people. They're the puppets there for
Yeah,
Mael.
but that's why you're wrong. It's because I don't view them as puppets for Mael.
That's fine that you don't, but they are. You're delusional. They're puppets. They
It's
can't. You
fine if
just
you
said
view
it
them.
yourself. They can't.
Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah.
can't do
It's
anything that Mael
no, no,
doesn't
no, no,
want. They're
no.
literally
It's fine
puppets
if
for
you
her own
if you
entertainment.
find if you it's fine if you view it that way. But everything in the game seems to suggest that they are able to transcend the painter's like expectations and people who paint them the expectations like by far. It's not even close. Yeah.
What are the examples of this?
Oh my god. It feels it's like trying to speak to a toddler, dude. Like for example,
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
because like even Painter Verso in the first place, like even though he's been created by Aline, right? He's objectively a creation by Aline. He is able to assist the party in defeating Aline, and he is able to assist the party in doing crazy shit. That's number one. Okay. Number two, there's also examples where the Nevrons are created by Clea. Did you even know that? Like, did you even know the Nevrons are created by Clea? You don't even know that because you don't pay attention. So like, the Nevrons are created by Clea. All right, the majority of them at the very least. The white Nevrons are created by Painted Clea. So the fact that the Nevrons aren't even like that good, like eventually you will be able to overcome the Nevrons, is in a way another failure on the painter's part to try to control the populace. Another reason that you're wrong is because so Painted Clea, I'm sure we all agree with, is painted. She is on the same power level as Painted Verso because they are both like painted replicas of the family, right? So Painted Clea, she defies Clea's will because Clea wants her to paint actual monsters that are willing to torture humans and willing to torture people. However, notice that Painted Clea makes the white Nevrons, which are passive and they do not attack humans. That is another act of defiance that she is willing to take. Otherwise, yeah, like there's just so many fucking examples. You just don't pay attention to any of them. It's crazy to me. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's okay. All right. I
How did they
understand
get
that you have an ego. You have a big
how
ego.
did
Okay.
Mael get it? Well, no, you have this reading is just the most wrong possible reading you possibly have of the game. Yeah. How,
Okay. All right.
how was Mael even able to get to the paintress? Was it the Lumina converter?
Do you think it's only the Lumina converter that I'm pointing to as a piece of evidence?
You
Or
said
do
the
you think
Lumina
it's like
converter
everything?
was the thing that allowed them to break through.
No, the Lumina converter was presented as a counter evidence to omnipresence power of the gods.
No,
That's why I was
no,
presenting that.
no,
I
it's
wasn't I
not.
wasn't presenting that. I wasn't presenting that as like, oh, this is the only reason why
How is it?
it
It's
is
not
being
presented as
used to.
omnipresence to anything. It's just a slightly useful tool. The guy who walks in with the Lumina converter gets killed
Yeah,
instantly.
why yeah, why would be like why would those like why the fuck would these like so-called gods like prevent that like in any way? Like if you say that they have this omnipresent power to paint over anyone and to take control of anyone, why can't they just like fucking paint over every single Lumerian and like prevent the Lumina converter from even created in the first place? Like basically my point
Because
is that
one
they
of them
wouldn't allow the
wait,
creation of a
wait, let me
tool to counter
respond.
them.
I don't know why you're
Yeah,
out of
okay.
breath, just like spewing every random discrete
Because I'm fat, because I'm fat,
fact
because
you
I'm fat,
know.
because I'm fat, because I'm
No, you're
fat,
just
because
saying
I'm
like
fat.
random
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I'm fat. Okay, yeah, go
There is
ahead.
a fight
Yeah.
within the canvas between the painters. Isn't
Yeah.
that how they survive?
Yeah, because there was a disagreement between Greek gods. Yes.
Well, I don't know what Greek gods has to do with this.
No.
Why is the
Okay,
gomage
whatever.
happening? What does the gomage mean?
Comage means that Renoir wants to find a way to kill everything inside the painter canvas so that Aline would go.
And why are they not all being killed?
Because Aline is preventing that.
So it has nothing to do with the free will of the people in the city. It's literally just the painters exercising their will over them.
No, the painters was trying to buy time, right? So then they were able to like say goodbye to their loved ones. But that doesn't mean that doesn't like even though they're
Wait,
gods,
the
right?
painters able to
They're
buy time. Hold on,
no,
wait,
no, no,
that had
no,
nothing.
no,
That
no,
was totally
no.
not
They're
responsive. That was
objectively
not
gods.
responsive to
They're
anything I just said.
no, you're
That was not
retarded. You're
responsive to
retarded.
anything
You're
that I just
retarded.
said. You're
You're
about to go on a
retarded.
totally irrelevant tangent.
You're so
You're about to go on a
wrong.
totally
It
irrelevant
is
tangent.
crazy how
The
wrong you
only
are.
reason, the
Yeah.
only way the people were able to survive, you were like, the Lumina converter. Why were they all the Lumina converter? No. Everything that happened in the canvas and the adventures of the people in Lumiere and everything was the result of whatever the painters allowed.
That's right.
So then they don't have free will. The Lumina converter wasn't important.
That's
I don't know why you
wrong.
focused on that.
No, but that doesn't mean that they don't have free will in like the other things that they choose to do, right? Because there's a lot of other examples to that. Like even though Aline is the one that allows all these people to be able to live long enough to do things that they are actually capable to do, doesn't mean that the people that were spared because of Aline are unable to like make free will decisions. You're making a false equivalency here. You're making a bad faith argument.
How is it? What am I making a false equivalency to?
Is Obama a god for having Obamacare and saving the lives of potentially at least one person out there that is able to change their life around?
No. Did Obama
Exactly.
create Americans?
Moron. Yeah,
Did Obama
that's
paint
not that's
the
not
United
relevant.
States
That's
of
not
America?
relevant. You know that's not
Did
relevant.
Obama
You know
paint
that's
the
not
United
relevant.
States of America?
You know
How
that's
do
not relevant. You know that's not relevant. That's not relevant. That's not relevant. That's literally not relevant. How is the creation of human beings? How is the creation of the United States relevant to anything? It's not relevant, right? Like you wouldn't say, "Oh my God, like fucking George Washington, like fucking like was a painter or paintress or whatever the fuck, right? Like that doesn't apply anywhere, right? I'm just like pointing out to you like how wrong you are.
But you're not, because it doesn't connect at all.
Well,
The entirety
you're
of the
not.
world, the civilization inside the canvas is self-serving.
Mhm.
All those people only exist to make the painters happy. That's it.
Okay,
They
then
have no
we're back at
ability.
we're,
They
we're
have no
back
way
at
of
square
breaking
one. We're
off
back
from
at
it.
square one. We're back at square one. Okay.
Yeah, because you lost on every
No,
argument.
because you're wrong. Because you're wrong. Okay. You mean the argument in which I was one of the only ones that presented any kind of relevant evidence ever? You mean the one where you failed to cite basic fact? Where the one you got wrong on Mayel having the ability to
Basic
paint
fact?
over people? You literally like lack like basic like
I
information
never
about the
said that. I
game.
don't know what you're talking about. You brought up the
You
Lumina converter as an example of what
yeah.
allowed them to be the painters. Story mode, that's not really true at all. What was the most important item that allowed them to reach the paintress?
Okay, see, you're hinging on the Lumina converter thing, even though it was brought up for like a
Well, no,
minor
you want to give an
point
example?
because you could make
How
math
did
faith
Mael get the
arguments.
sword to break the barrier? Where did that come from? Did that come from
The
Gustav? Was
barrier
that another one of his
breaker,
inventions? Yeah,
that came from Renoir, right? Renoir making it.
yeah, a
Yeah.
painter. So the only reason she was
So
able to get to the end had nothing to do with the free will of the people or anything else. It was people
yeah,
trying to break her out of the canvas.
it has to come with the collaboration of both in order for
No,
amazing things to happen, right?
no.
No, okay, hold on. Sorry. If the Lumerians are so irrelevant in literally everything, why even have the game in the first place? Why even have like? There's no point then. There's no point in any
But they were
exploring any
made as a
story.
self-serving
It's such a
fantasy
boring
for the
way.
other people to enjoy. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Wait, that's why they were painted,
Are
right?
our
It's so
children
people have fun and enjoy themselves in the canvas, right?
are our children made as a self-serving fantasy for moms, and so therefore they have no autonomy of themselves?
No,
Like
because
when they
children are
reach
real
adulthood.
human beings.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to children, they're real human beings, but when it comes to Lemurians in the canvas, they're like completely false. They're
Correct. They have no
completely
agency.
different
They
from
have no
humans.
free will. They're painted. They're literally
Okay,
created just to
amazing.
make the
Yes.
painters happy. Yes, they're paintings.
Yeah, and children are created to be happy for the parents.
Do
So,
children not have free will?
do Lemurians not have free will?
No, they don't.
Okay, so children don't.
But they do.
So the Lemurians do.
But they don't.
But so then the children don't.
What's an equivalent example in real life of somebody forcing somebody to come back to life and play the piano and all sit staring in a thing where every single person is only there? Do you think the ending in Miles' world is something that resembles reality?
What is reality to you?
Material
could be-
plane where things exist?
Yeah, sure. We could be living in a simulation right now, but it'd still be my reality, right?
We don't know that we're living in a simulation.
No,
Mael
that doesn't
does.
matter. That doesn't matter. Even
It
if I
doesn't
no,
matter
you're
if
wrong.
you
You're wrong on
know if
that.
you're
You're
living in a
nah,
simulation.
nah, nah. You're wrong on that. You're so
Wait,
wrong on that, and
you
you
don't
know
think
you're wrong.
knowledge
You know you're
matters?
wrong. You know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. Okay. The
Just to be clear, I'm
unknowing.
not. No, I'm
You're
not wrong
wrong.
at all.
You're
I'm
wrong.
absolutely 100% right. Every
The
single thought
fact.
experiment related to the experience
Mm,
machine
mm,
relies on you not knowing
mm,
that you're in the experience machine. If you
mm,
know that it's
mm,
not real,
mm,
it's very
mm,
clearly the whole impetus of
mm,
every single thing that breaks you out of these things is the knowledge that it's not real. In Inception, the reason why they want to leave is because the Leonardo DiCaprio character knows it's not real and they feel it's not real. In The Matrix, the reason why Neo wants to leave is because he feels that it's not real. And every single thing where you break out of a false reality is because you have a feeling that it's not real. Yeah, of course that matters. It's determinative.
Yeah, but that's such a boring way to like interpret the media, right?
No, it's
Like
not. Your way is
for
boring.
example,
Oh, it's a whole other world with equivalent people,
no,
so they should all
no.
be there forever.
It
Okay.
is so much. No, you missed the entire point of the movies anyway. Like, bro, actually, no, I'm not gonna get into a movie debate because we all know you're wrong. Like the Men in Black thing, okay? Like, dude, when it comes to interpretation of media, like you're just consistently wrong. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, it's
So you think
like
Verso's
you have
ending,
nothing
you
but the
think
bad
that's
takes.
bad? You think that's a bad ending?
From my perspective, yes,
Okay.
it's bad. It's a bad ending in comparison to the Mayo one. Yes.
Why do you think the music, the art direction, and everything else communicates the exact opposite? With the
Flaw
director
of the
stupid?
director. Flaw. Yes.
Okay. Get based. Not
Because you
truly
realize
based.
hold on, but you realize that I criticize the like director even when it comes to points that supports my side, right? Like for example, when it comes to the storylines of like the fucking party members, like I criticize them even though like it doesn't like even though criticizing them will do me no good. So it's like I'm criticizing him overall based off of like overall shit. It's equal, but for you, it's not equal. For you, it has to be self-serving. It has to all roads lead to Rome, or Rome's lead to road for you because you're so stupid. Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm chilling. Just remembering when Rousseau was like, unpaint me, please. I hate my life. And you're like,
Yeah,
no, he
that's
had free will.
self-serving. That's self-serving. Yeah, that's
It's not
self-serving.
self-serving.
Yes.
It's literally sacrificing himself. He's literally doing,
He's
how is that
sacrificing
self-serving?
the world. He's sacrificing the world for his
Because
own
he knows it's not
non-existence.
real. How can you
He's
say,
serving
oh, when he sacrificed himself, he said that was self-serving? What do you think self-serving means?
self-serving means you're purely selfish for your own ends and you'll use anybody or
Literally not his
anything to
ends.
do that.
Yeah, that's not
He's
his
literally doing it
ends.
for his own ends. He's literally doing it for his own ends. Yes. Verso is completely and utterly selfish. Yes. I don't know why you're disagreeing with me on this. You're like clueless. I don't know why
That
you're saying this.
you have no comprehension of anything in the game or in the world or anything.
Okay,
If
if you
that's
say
your
so.
take, if that got the
Okay, if you say so.
self-serving.
I'm okay with you disagreeing with my take because I know you'll always be wrong and you'll never bend the knee on anything. You'll never be convinced. So I get it. I'm okay with that. But you're just wrong. Like I'm
Okay.
like the more I argue with you, the more I realize I'm just completely correct. Like I'm sorry, it's just like for every single argument that I am in, I'm just like further vindicated. I feel more further vindicated. I mean, people in chat and people in the server and people in your chat will always agree with you just simply because they're more parasocial with you, or some shit. I'm super fucking parasocial with you, okay? But fuck you, okay? You're just completely wrong.
That's crazy.
Okay, if you say so. I mean, I think you're pretty crazy too.
So then to be clear, the art
Mm-hmm.
direction, the directors were totally wrong in their interpretation of the story then, right?
No,
Because it
I
sounds
wouldn't
like
say
you
that.
agree
No,
that
no,
the
no,
art
wrong.
direction and everything
Nah.
else. Well, you agree
When
that
did I
you
say they were completely wrong? When I said I had critiques.
you
I said that I
I'm
had
trying
critiques.
to
I
I can't
said
even
that I
finish my
had
sentence, so I don't okay,
criticisms.
okay.
No, go ahead, buddy. Thank you.
You seemed to say, maybe I'm not understanding you, but it seemed like you said that they incorrectly portrayed the ending of the game, that they were incorrect in their portrayal of that. So they, at the very least, they misunderstood their own ending, right?
No.
Okay, do you think that they portrayed, at least like artistically, the Verso ending as being superior to the Mael ending?
Yes, that's the issue.
Okay, so then they were wrong in their portrayal. They misunderstood their own endings then, no? Or do you think they're
No,
just bad artists? They didn't
no,
understand that like making things black and
they're
white and making the
wrong.
piano bang,
They're
that is
wrong.
conveys a sense of dread.
Hold on. They're wrong in their portrayal, but that doesn't mean that they don't understand. Because everything in the game leads up to that, right? Clear, obscure, dark, clear, and obscure. Light and dark.
What is that supposed to communicate?
Like there would be no point. Like there would be no point in us like having any kind of fight over the endings if it weren't for like the division over it, right? Then there's no point in me defending anything if it was just purely been like based off of artistic representation of the game itself. Like that's so boring to me. What a boring conversation. You might as well just
What?
disagree with me and move on.
No,
But
you're inventing your own everything. How there's I can't even argue because you're just like saying like, well, I disregard that. I think they portrayed that badly, so I'm gonna ignore that. And then you're just
no,
I mean, at that
having
point, you can
your
manufacture whatever meaning you
dude,
want.
it's funny how bad faith you are. It's so crazy how bad
How am
faith
I
you are
bad faith? What are you
because
saying?
because from my perspective, I am saying that there are things that they could have improved. There are things that they like there are critiques that I have of the way that they have presented things, and you're taking that and turning it into, oh, so you're saying the director completely misunderstood his entire work. What the fuck? When did I say that? Or when did I even imply that?
When you said that their endings showcased the opposite of what they should showcase, then that implies to me that they misunderstand their endings.
Okay, why did I say the director did what he did? Why did I say that?
I don't know. You
I
mumbled.
want you to
You
repeat back to
rambled off.
me. I want you to repeat. Okay, you
Yeah,
weren't
I'm
listening. Okay,
trying to,
that's
but
just
you're
fine.
just coming
That's okay.
off.
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it. Okay,
Wait, let
you
me
weren't
finish.
listening. You weren't listening. You
said,
weren't listening. You weren't listening.
no.
You weren't
I can tell
listening.
you what you said. I
Okay.
was listening to you. You said because the whole game was building up to that. I don't know what the fuck that means though.
Yeah, sure. The entire point of the game is that both Mael and Verso represent two sides of the same coin, in which they are both trying to serve their own selfish ends by playing and toying and sacrificing the lives of other people's sanity and other people's lives. So, in order to highlight that, you need to create a dichotomy in endings where both endings are technically bad because it creates an interpretation where, okay, a better ending is possible, except that you're forced to pick one of the two bad endings.
This is just presupposing
Do you need me
that
to
every
repeat it back to you like a fucking like teaching a fucking retarded
Why would
Down
I need
syndrome?
you to
Like
repeat it back
what?
to me when I was responding to what you said?
Okay, go ahead.
Wait, why would I need you to repeat it back to me when I'm responding to the thing you just said?
Just say it. Oh my god, just get to the point.
No, wait,
Jesus Christ,
why?
you're
But I don't
wasting
understand why
time
you need to repeat it back to me when I was just about to respond to what you were saying. I was like, I have 3 words in my response. Why would I need you to
because
repeat the thing back to me that I was in the middle of responding to?
because I'm not even sure if you're listening to me in the first place. Like
How
it's
could you
so
know that I'm
crazy.
listening when I was 3 words into my reply?
I just interpreted you to be wrong. Like I have future
How could you
foresight, and I
possibly?
guessed.
What three
I know
words? Repeat what
because
I
I know
said.
your
What were the
arguments. I
three
know
words
all of
I
your
said?
arguments.
What were the three
Yeah,
words that I said? Oh, then what argument was I about to say?
I don't remember.
Okay, so you were spurging.
No, at the time, like I looked ahead and I trust past myself. Like I trust the past version of myself from like 30 seconds ago. Okay, then your judgment of what your interpretation to be my past self to be.
You were spurging.
I trust the judgment of a past version of myself from a minute ago now. Then your interpretation of my past self, because you have shown yourself, you have shown already that you're bad faith, and you have
How
already
have I
broken that
shown that I'm
credibility.
bad faith? What is the strongest example you have that you think I've shown that I'm bad faith?
Okay, I'm sorry. Were you even listening in the first place? Hello, is this mic fucking working? Hold on,
I've
dude.
asked you a question.
I
What was the strongest example of
Yeah.
me being bad
So
faith?
me having critiques of the director doesn't mean that I'm saying the director doesn't fucking like misunderstand like their own fucking work. That is an example of bad faith. You took that and
The
you took it
critique
to its
you're
extreme.
blasting out, so
So
you're
yeah,
being bad
that's
faith now.
easily how. That's
You're being
literally my
bad faith
strongest argument for you being
because
bad faith. Okay.
I gave
Okay.
you
All
a
right.
specific argument. I
Mhm.
asked you specifically. You seem to be implying that the directors were incorrect in how they artistically displayed the 2 different endings. You seem to be implying that, and you said yes. And then I asked you. It seems to be that you think that their interpretations of the ending, therefore, because they are artistically, they're drawing them the way they want them to be drawn, and you
Mhm.
seem to think that they're misunderstanding them. And then you said yes. And then so it seems to me then that they misunderstand, I
Seems to me
guess,
that.
maybe not
Sorry.
their
Go on.
entire. It would stand to reason that they misunderstand a significant amount of their work if they didn't
Mhm.
understand what both endings were displaying. Do you think that is
That's
fair? What part of that is bad faith?
nah, nah. I have an explanation for that.
What? No, wait. I don't care about the explanation. What part of that explanation that I just gave was bad faith?
Um, I don't think that's bad faith. but that's not what you said,
What did I say
nor
that was
that's
bad
what you
faith?
implied. So you said that it seems like they have misunderstood their own work. That is bad faith.
Yeah, by completely missing the endings and not understanding what the
No,
endings are. It seems to be a
you
fun. Do you think the
no.
ending is not an important part?
There's a disconnect here, Pisco. Okay, so the reason why that is different from what you were saying of that is because you provided so much more nuance in your second explanation, because the first statement that you said, which is oh, the creators misunderstood their own work, it implies that I come from a position of complete ignorance, that I assume the creators have complete ignorance and they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. But from your more
Okay,
nuanced
that might be
explanation, it
your
implies that they have
reading.
more
That
understanding.
might be your reading of that. But
Okay,
my
Mr.
takeaway
Girl,
is I would
no.
say you seem to say that they misunderstand their work. That doesn't mean that they fucked up on every single thing and they fucked up on every single artistic thing. They didn't convey a single thing. It just means that if they completely misunderstood their own endings, then it stands to reason that they misunderstood their work. I think that's a fair statement. I don't think any part of that is bad faith. I'm sorry that you read that as a massive and dramatic overgeneralization, but that's not how I meant it.
Well, I read you to have that interpretation because you're heated.
I'm not heated at all. You're the one that's interrupting me after 3 words and then claiming that you've Doctor Stranged yourself into every single future and seen all possible
No, I
arguments
am
that I could use
heated.
without remembering anything
I
that I
am
said.
heated. I am heated. Yes, I am heated.
Okay.
Because
When
your
Mael
opinion
repaints the world,
justifiably makes me heated.
when Mael repaints the world and everything is completely and totally
Hmm.
fucked, what do you think that world's going to look like in a few years? Is it going to get better, or is it going
Okay,
to be more
okay.
fractured
You're
and more
getting your
fucked?
facts wrong. Like even in that statement, you're getting your facts wrong. Like objective facts.
What facts am I getting
Mael
wrong?
Mael sucks as a painter, objectively. She has a talent for writing.
What fact did I just get wrong?
You said she paints the world. She repaints her own world,
Yes.
right?
Did she
In
not? Did I
Verso's
misunderstand that?
canvas. In Verso's canvas, right? Am I misunderstanding you in some way?
Did she not? Is that not the ending? Her ending?
She is unable to, like, she is able to bring people back, but she's not able to manipulate people like that. She's not
I'm not
able
talking
to
about
be
manipulating
Clea.
people. I'm just saying, like, creating the
Yeah,
entire world. The world is like fucked and fractured.
yeah.
What's going to happen to that world over time? Is it going to get wacky and decayed and morphed and mutated and everything's going to get horrific and completely fucked? How is she going to fix it all?
She's probably gonna learn to paint better forcibly through great effort. So, how does that contradict anything I've said?
Okay. Well, I mean, if we can just totally invent completely new things, then yeah, base, true.
Wait, hold on. What are we inventing? That's new.
The idea that she'll just magically, dramatically increase her skill as a painter as she's literally getting lost in her own delusional, fantastic world.
That's what
Where
you're
her skill and
implying.
goal is,
That's literally the answer to the question. Like me saying a maybe. Like that's
hold on, what?
literally
That's not what I'm
your.
implying. That is the ending of the game. It's her being lost in this world forever. That is the ending. Is her? She's going to remain in this painting until she dies. There's
Yeah,
no
but
other reading of the
no
ending
no
of
no
this.
no no no. Hold on. It's so funny that you say that I am the one making up a fantastical delusion by assuming that she has infinite ability when you're the one that's assuming that she has infinite ability based off of the ending
When did I say
to
she has
make people
infinite
do whatever she
ability?
wants.
That's not infinite ability. That's limited ability. She just paints puppets. There's nothing impressive about that.
How did you even get that from the ending? She paints puppets? How did you even get that?
Yeah. Well, how about the part at the end where Verso is crying, begging her to not make him live this life, and she just repaints him anyway and throws him back next to her? That's a puppet.
Yeah,
What else is happening there?
and she makes him age. Have you noticed like Verso not aging?
What does that have to do with anything?
Because it shows that Mael is capable of nuance, right? Like, what is the
What? That
point?
doesn't make.
Like,
He's
there's no
miserable. Do you acknowledge that
you
he's
realize.
miserable?
Hold on, hold on, hold on. You realize there's literally no point in Mael going through any kind of character development through the entire game if it just led to her becoming like a black or white villain, right?
Oh, we agree. That's correct. If you choose Miles' ending, there has been no character development. Correct. That is right. Yes. The Mayal that would stay in the canvas at the end of the game is the same Mayal that threw herself into the canvas to recreate her life because she hated what reality was. Correct. Yes.
No, you're wrong.
How has she grown by the end?
The issue with what you're saying
How
is
was she
that
grown by the end?
no, no,
How was
no,
she grown
no,
by the
no, no,
end?
no, no.
How
Hold
was she
on,
grown
hold on.
by the end? You just said I was wrong, and my wrongness was saying that
No,
she's the
no,
same character by the end as
no,
she was living. So tell me how she grew
no.
by the end. What was the character
I
development?
disagree. I disagree with your interpretation.
Sure. So tell me what the character development was then.
Okay, she goes. So Gustav dies. Okay, Gustav dies, and she is forced to deal with trauma and grief and the process of learning about the Desandre family's sins and
What? So
recovering
hold
her
on. Wait.
memories. And
Hold
can
on.
you
No,
let
no,
me
no. You're
finish?
just, no, no.
Like
You're just
I
saying that.
can't
Wait, no,
even.
no, stop. Because
Okay,
you're
all
lying.
right.
You're lying about things.
What am I
Was
lying about?
Gustav?
What?
Wait,
What?
Did Gustav die?
Yeah. Hello.
Oh. Oh shit. Wait, Gustav. Oh, never mind. Wait. Sorry,
If
never mind. Never mind.
Gustav
I
if
thought. I thought.
Gustav
I
has
thought. I
never
thought
died,
Gustav.
if Gustav hold on, yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna
No, no,
say,
no,
oh
no,
my
no,
gosh,
no,
she
no.
can
You got
magically
me.
bring him
I
back.
thought
Oh
Gustav
my
came back
god,
at
you're
the
gonna
end, and he brought. I thought he was just sitting there at the end, like nothing ever happened. But so
okay,
you're right. I fucked up.
okay.
My bad. My bad. But he did die, and then she had to. You said she had to deal with the grief and trauma, right? Which is what the whole game is
Hmm.
about. Which she really, literally
Yeah.
can't do. Which is why she remains in the painting at the end. But Gustav
You're
dies, so maybe she
not
does learn to
right.
deal with that. I guess.
You're
Oh, okay.
wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong. Like to say that she hasn't been dealing with grief and trauma throughout the game about like after Gustav's death is just complete incorrect. Like why else would there be a funeral? Like a mini funeral? Why else would she try to process these feelings throughout the course of the journey? But like you
She
go through the
doesn't though.
entire
That's why she
journey,
brings him
you go
back.
no, but what? She doesn't process any of her grief during the entire journey?
No. Correct. She's mad
Oh
the
my
whole
god.
time.
Okay, you're just stupid. Okay, never
She's
mind.
literally mad
I
at
can't.
Verso when she
There's
asked Verso, "Did you
Hear
allow
that, chat?
Gustav to
There's no
die? Did
point
you
to
let
having
him
the
die?"
funeral.
She's
There's
mad
no
about that.
point. Okay, there's no point to having the funeral. There's no point to having any of
Correct.
that. Like, there's just no point
Correct.
any. Okay, dude, you're so wrong. You're just so blatantly incorrect about everything. Oh my
Can you
god,
give me
dude.
an example in any other piece of media where somebody has learned a lesson and then just brought the thing back? Do you realize that's the opposite of learning the lesson? That's the opposite of
I can't
acceptance,
think
right?
of one. I can't think of one.
Because
Which is
that's
what
not how that works. It's literally the exact opposite. That's not
exactly,
acceptance.
exactly. That's not how it works. Exactly. That's not how it works. How
Because
do you
it's not
not take
character
that?
growth.
No, how do you not take that as an interpretation that you're wrong?
No, you're wrong about the interpretation of the ending. She brings Gustav back because she can't cope with anything being gone. She just wants to lock everything into her own little play fantasy world.
Except that across the course of the plot, there has been plenty of instances where she is forced to deal with grief and how to deal with grief and learn coping mechanisms and have a fucking funeral. She has shown that she learns from everything. And yeah, at
What
the
does she
same
learn from?
time,
What does she learn
you're
by the end? Tell me
convinced
what she learns by the end. What does she learn by the end?
she learns all this, like, she learns how to cope with grief better, way better than
Does
her
she learn to cope?
parents.
What is the coping mechanism?
She had a funeral. That's good coping, right? Having a funeral brings closure.
No. Oh, closure.
Yeah.
Closure? What does closure mean?
Hold on. Are you saying that if you lose a family
Hey!
member, you wouldn't bring them back, like at no cost? No cost. No cost.
It's a different type of that's a different type of question.
It's not. It's the same question. It's literally the same question, but okay. Like
It's not
let's just
it's
say, okay,
different
listen,
because she's
hypothetically,
not bringing back a
okay,
real life
okay.
person. She's
Let's just say,
creating a puppet.
okay.
It's
Hypothetically,
a
not
fake
trying to offend
look.
you or anything. Okay, hypothetically, let's just say your mom died. Okay, and you had the ability to bring her back anytime. All right. Oh wait, no, we don't even need to go to your mom. What about Reckful? Let's just say you have the ability to bring. So you've come to terms with Reckful's death, right? So what if you had the ability to bring back Reckful anytime? Do you just simply choose to not bring him back now? Now that you have come to terms with his death?
It's not the same type of argument.
It's oh my, it's okay, dude.
Reckful
Okay,
is a
all
real
right, yeah.
human being. Reckful is not a plot device for me to grow as a person.
Oh, yeah. We're back at square one. We're literally back at square one. It's just
Because you have no media literacy. You're saying what were the coping mechanisms? A funeral is not a coping mechanism. A funeral is a moment in time of a thing that happens after a person dies. It doesn't show that you've learned to cope or deal with anything happening at
is
all.
is okay. How is a funeral not a way to cope with someone's death? Tell me.
It's not necessarily
Describe
because
for
somebody
me.
can go through a funeral and still be ruined by a thing and not have coped with or dealt with a particular thing at all.
Okay, that's for people who don't cope with a funeral.
Which she
That's
hasn't.
because some people in the world legitimately cannot get closure from a funeral and they legitimately cannot use a funeral as a means to cope. But for some people, it feels necessary to do that as a mean to come to terms with it. So I don't know what to say.
Like if you want an example in media of a
Hmm.
funeral used to cope, an example would be the ending of the video game Expedition 33, where you choose Verso's path, and I think they have that funeral, they wave goodbye to the gravesite or whatever, where the real Verso is painted, and then they walk away with it and they move on with their lives. That's called closure. That is coping. That's healthy acceptance and moving on.
Yeah, why am I
Recreating a
against that?
zombie
Yeah,
figure of
why
a
am I against
person
that?
in a horrifically mutated world that you can't
Why am I against
maintain,
that? Why am I against that?
because you're going to pivot to the genocide argument.
Exactly. I mean,
But
it's not
that's not.
technically
But in
genocide, I
terms of
guess. It's
character
not.
development, it's not,
But
and it's not genocide. It's literally they're genocided either way too. It doesn't even matter, right?
I mean, it just goes back to the argument of like, I would rather
Wait,
have the
aren't they
Desandre family
genocided?
suffer than,
Aren't they genocided anyway? Like, didn't they all die?
huh?
When Maëlle repaints the whole world, does she know every single name all the Lumieres? Does she know all of them, or is she just painting more random people?
I mean, she probably brings as much as she could back from what she remembers, right? Not everybody. That would be a population issue or some shit. I don't know.
Okay, so she brings back what, 50 people, maybe? And she paints them in her image, right? She doesn't know all the memories and thoughts and feelings and dreams. So whatever
How do
civilization
you
have already gone.
know? How do you know she has the ability to repaint them in her own image?
Because that's what she does with Verso.
She literally made him grow older. That's literally it.
What she's forced him to come back from the grave against his will to be a literal puppet on a stage for her. It can't be any clearer.
No, she made him come back so then he is able to age like a normal fucking human being. Okay?
How do you support that with the text? What do you get that from? That was her goal.
All the interactions Mael had with Verso, if you read them,
Give me one.
sure. When Mael told Verso, hey, when this is all over, we should hold a concert for you. And, you know, I'm going to make sure everyone goes to the concert and everything's going to be awesome. She kept her promise. Good for her.
How does that Oh my god.
You know you've been beaten, okay? Because I actually know how to cite
No, I haven't
evidence.
been beaten. I can't tell if you're trolling or not.
This
Verso
is
is
such an
begging to
easy.
die at the end.
This
Verso
is such an
literally gomages
easy
himself, and
argument.
she
You're so
rewrites
mad.
him back into the world to be her puppet on a stage.
Yeah, you assume he's a puppet. Okay.
He is. Wait, hold on. Did he want to die?
Yes.
Was he begging her, I don't want to live
Yes.
this life?
Yes. Yeah. He wanted to die. Yeah, that's true.
She wouldn't even let him touch the child, the real version of himself. When he tried to tell the kid to stop
Whoa,
painting, she
pause. Hello, Willie Matt speaking. Dude,
right?
no.
No what?
Because
Wait, no what? What did you
for
say
her
no to?
own,
What did you say no to? What did you say no to? You said no. No what?
she wouldn't let Verso touch the child.
Yes, because she
Yeah.
wants to maintain the fantasy world.
Yeah, but then we go back to, like, you say fantasy world because you're implying everybody is fucking fake as fuck.
No, because oh my god. It's okay. Shh. I'm calming myself.
No, dude,
You're not analyzing from the text. You're analyzing from your own fantastic delusions. If you read the script, if you
What
look at the
the
media,
fuck?
and you go because
Chat,
listen, this is the argument we're having right
is
now.
it
The
not the
argument we're
case?
having
Hold
right
on,
now. No, the argument that we're having right now is
no.
whether or
This
not
is
when she brought
no.
back Verso,
You don't even
oh my
understand.
God.
You don't even understand. You don't even have an objective view of the argument that we're having.
You're not even going to make an argument. You're just going to say this. You're not making an argument from text. All you're doing is you're inserting your own fantasy. If you listen to what Maëlle says after Verso's dying, Verso's saying, I don't want this life. I don't want this life. Maëlle is not saying, I'm going to repaint you so that you can fulfill your destiny. I'm going to repaint you so that you guys can. She's saying, I just wanted to live this lifetime together. I wanted it. This lifetime was stolen from us. Please, brother, please. I want us to live together. That's what she was saying. It was for her. It wasn't for him.
Okay. Every single time that you have asked me a question where I'm forced to bring up evidence, is there a single time in which I have avoided bringing up evidence or brought up insufficient evidence? Name one.
Every time you're not bringing up anything satisfying. You're inserting your
Oh
own
my
ideas.
god. So every time I bring up evidence that I find satisfying, you don't find satisfying? Okay, Trumper. Okay,
Yes, but
MAGA
I can
supporter.
support that with the
Okay,
text. You
MAGA.
can't.
Yeah.
You're claiming, tell me if I misunderstand you. You're claiming that when she brought Verso back, because she aged him and allowed people to attend his concert, that was her helping Verso? That was a selfless thing she was doing?
Yeah, because you just assume it's bad simply because he's brought back, but that's a fallacy.
No,
obviously.
I assume it's bad because he was begging to die.
Okay, when someone is suicidal and they're begging to die, do you just say, "Oh yeah, just kill yourself"? On most instances,
that's not the context here. People are not fake painted people.
That's literally the context. Also, do you notice how you're like
that's
taking?
Literally not the
why
context.
are you treating? Hold on. According to your own standards, why are you treating Painted Verso like the wishes of a real person? Have you asked a child what it wants?
Like the wishes of a
have you asked the like little piece of actual Verso that is back?
Don't ask me a question if you're not coming off with retarded fucking retarded shit.
No, hold on. This is the entire argument.
Verso as a real person. Okay. Stop. I'm not treating Verso as a real person. You are. If you're treating him as a real person and he's saying, I want to fucking die, it's fucking retarded for you to say that Mael, who is a real person, that brings him back to life, is respecting his autonomy. What I'm saying is even the simulacrum realizes he needs to go. Even he wants to go. I'm not saying that I respect his wishes because she should disappear him because he's so important and he has all the morality of a real person. I'm saying she should let him go and go back to reality. You're trying to twist this argument around on me, but it's against you. I'm not respecting his wishes as a real person. I want him to be able to go away, whatever, so that Mael can go back to the real world. You're saying that he's a real person, but you have no respect for his wishes. You don't even have respect for the real fragment of his soul that Mael slashes away when he tries to grab his hand.
Okay, I've literally never said that Mael's ending was perfect. It's not a perfect ending. And you know
when did I say you said it was perfect?
You're implying it through this entire debate.
No,
like you're implying that I'm arguing 100% for it.
I said there was no character growth. I didn't say they were perfect.
It represents. I said I'm saying
have character growth. That's what I said. You said he
there is.
Growth. I said there's no character growth.
No,
I don't know why you're talking
it's
about
that
perfect now.
no, because your argument is that Mael's ending denies Mael her character growth.
Yes, it's a failure, like Jaime in Game of Thrones.
No, but the fact that you say that is so incorrect and so utterly wrong.
Then I
because you're just assuming that you're making
growth?
Extrapolations.
I'm not. I just quoted you the text. You're saying, well, maybe she'll learn to paint better in the future. That's not supported by the text, and there's every reason to believe that's not the case. By the way, so where are you getting this idea that what was the character growth?
Verso gets older.
How is that's not character growth of Mael? He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be older. That's not a real compromise.
How do you know? Hold on.
If I let you grow old, would you find a reason to smile? For me, it's for her. It's all selfish.
Yes, it could be selfish, and it probably is selfish.
Okay, it is.
But at the end of the day, all the Lumerians living, as many Lumerians as possible, is still better than the Desandre family killing everyone. All right.
Okay, fine. Then that would be a better ending, but that ending came with no character growth from Mael.
She still got character. For you to deny Mael's character growth over the course of the story because of her ending is unhinged. Okay.
Except I support my arguments with the text, and you have nothing.
She didn't just make like Verso be able to age to what he looks like to be a 56-year-old or a 57-year-old if it means like regressing on her character. She had no self like happy moment for her to do that. It doesn't bring her happiness to make him die eventually, right? Because as Verso ages, what do you think happens?
You don't even
as Verso
know if
ages, he dies.
You don't know if he'll die ever because he already wanted to die. So why would you bring him back just to let him die again? Number one. Number two, she literally says in the
because
black
it was a
screen,
reference. Because it was a reference to a conversation. It was a reference to a conversation that they had. Yeah,
She
okay.
said,
All
if
right,
you
dude.
could grow old, would you find a reason to smile? She's desperately trying to bring him back in some way that is acceptable for him so that she can be
Because
happy.
she cares about his happiness.
No, how can you say she cares about his happiness when she
Because
denies him his ending?
the reason he wants to die is because he is constantly suffering, and part of that suffering is his inability to grow old. But if he
My
removes the
God.
reasons,
Wait. No,
if
tell me that.
she
No, wait.
actively
Tell me why
removes the
Brazil is
reasons,
suffering. No, tell
if
me.
she actively removes the reasons why she wants to die, why he wants to die, then there's no reason for him to want to kill himself anymore, right? And everybody around him for that.
Okay. So let me just make sure I'm understanding.
Okay.
So you think that the reason why Rousseau is sad the whole game is because he can't get old, and by making it so he can age,
Yes,
now
he's
he's
purely
now it has
selfish. Yes,
capiche.
he's purely selfish. Yes, he's purely selfish. Yes. He's
Then
purely
why didn't he
selfish.
just say that when he was gomaging? Why didn't he just say, "Oh, make it so I can age," instead of, "I don't want this life. Please let me die." So
Because
one,
when
you
you're
lose that. Two, why is it that when he
when
comes
you're
out on stage,
spiraling, no, because when you're spiraling out
when
of
you're spiraling, oh,
control,
you're going to read
obviously
more
you're going
into
to
it.
go to
That's
the
not a
worst.
spiral. This isn't
That's
spiraling.
not
You're
I'm
reading
not
into
reading
that.
more
That's not
into it.
true.
I'm not the reason
You
I'm
are.
not reading more into it
What's
is
the evidence that he's
because
spiraling?
when, for example, when Verso has lost Julie. Okay, how much do you know about Julie? That plot with
Julie
Julie.
was lost like fucking 70 years ago. How is this spiraling?
Because the entire point of that is that the reason why Verso no longer tries to communicate with the future expeditions all that much, right, is part of his experience with
No.
Julie.
How is he
He's
spiraling?
spiraling out of
Why are you
control.
pivoting? He's spiraling.
Okay.
So he's been spiraling for 100 years. He's spiraling at the very end of the game. The whole game he's spiraling.
Yeah, he gave up hope. He gave up
No,
hope.
he has clarity at the end. He knows exactly what he wants. She needs to go back to the real world. He's not just unhappy because he's not aging.
Look, I get it, okay? You think in
What?
clear
No, wait.
obscure, okay? You think in clear obscure, all right?
Stop
You are
wasting
all
time
about
saying random
clear
shit. Why are you
obscure,
saying
all
random
right?
words? Hold on, don't meme. Why is it that at the end, then, when he comes out on stage
I'm
and he
not
plays the piano,
memeing. You literally think in
okay,
black or white.
by
Yeah, go
saying the
ahead.
title of the game, which is fucking retarded, because you can't support any of your arguments with anything from the actual media. Why is it at the end when he comes out to play the piano and he's older? Why isn't he happy? Shouldn't he be happy because now he's aging? Is he still spiraling even through the end of the game?
I think that's the director's mistake to make him not look a little happier.
So when the
Which,
director makes the ending go black and white and he bangs the piano
yeah, and
in
with
anger,
Mael's eyes, and it shows
you
like
think that was
her
all a
going
mistake?
insane in the real world.
What are they? Okay,
Yeah.
so then the way that your ending works is by you. Now, normally I would say you're reading too
No,
much into it,
because
but you're not
no,
even
no,
reading
no, no,
into
no,
it. You're
no,
just saying, "God,
because
fucked up everything here."
because there's not many downsides to Mael's ending. There's not many downsides, and that's just the truth
No,
of it.
okay.
Because
No, wait.
because
No,
if they
wait. You
didn't
should just
because
start with
if they
this. This
didn't
is what
add
this
because
fanfic.
if they
This
didn't add
argument's
if
over.
they didn't
You're not
add the
arguing.
piano
You're not
thing
arguing this
if
game.
they
You have a
didn't
fanfic that you're talking about.
okay
I'm not here to argue fanfic.
no,
You have a non-canon fanfic.
I'm trying to
No, you have a
present
non-canon
evidence. I'm
fanfic.
trying to present
Non-canon
reasoning.
fanfic.
I'm trying to present
No. You have a non-canon
reasoning
fanfic, and I
for the
respect
way.
that. I'm sure there'll be mods for the
Okay,
game, and you can add
you have a
color and maybe
non-canon.
move
No,
the
you
dance
have a
around.
fanfic. No, you have a fanfic around Mael not getting any character development. That's your fanfic.
Except no, because I'm literally
No,
demonstrating how her character hasn't developed.
the literature contradicts you
But
directly.
it literally doesn't.
What is the point of any of Mael's, like, any part of her in the story ever? Like, period. Like, what the fuck, bro?
The
Like, you
point at
can't
the
be
end is for her
serious
to
on this.
choose. The point for her at the end is to choose to go back to the real world. That's the character growth. That's the same character growth Clea had. It's the same character growth Renoir had. It's the same character growth the mom had. It's the same character growth they all experienced. And now they're trying to get Mael, the youngest, to experience. Or do you think? Well, no, you would say all of them are wrong. But yes, that's the character growth. Is being able to leave the delusion.
Okay. All right, if you say so. But, like, you know, we've been going around in circles, and you've just
You're
been
not going around in
consistently
circles. It's
wrong
a
on
straight
everything.
line. You don't have any. You can't, What's
No.
an example of her character growth? What's an
No,
example of her character growth?
No. Can I justify why we think we're going in circles? The reason why I think we're
Tell me
going in
what an
circles
example of the
is...
character growth is.
Hold on. This is very important. Okay,
No,
Steven,
because you're
I need you to
saying a
listen
bunch
to
of-
me. Steven,
Oh my god.
Steven, I need you to listen to me. Okay? The reason why I think we're going in circles is because we are addressing the issue of what is more morally correct versus how artistically fulfilling it would be for Mayel to have character development. These two are fundamentally different questions that you are entangling into one, and presumably my mistake. Okay, unless you're being bad faith. All right. As
Just to
far as
be
I'm
clear, I don't know if
concerned,
you're doing this intentionally or not, but when you obfuscate and when you confuse these two arguments with each other, it's because you know you've lost on one point. It might be that Mayel had or didn't have character development. That's a separate argument from, or is it a genocide by getting rid of people? When you're running back to this genocide argument,
nah,
it's because
nah.
you've given all
The
ground on the
reason,
Mayel
no, no, no,
character
no, no,
development
no, no,
argument.
no, no,
That's why
no.
I
The
was asking you
reason,
very
no, the
specifically,
reason,
what's evidence
no,
of character growth of Mayel?
because on the genocide argument, you lose automatically. It's not even close. Like it's a retarded
The
point that
genocide
you're trying to
argument,
defend.
you have auto lost. You ready?
No,
Want me to show you how you've auto lost that? Can you give me a single line of text from the ending that shows that Mayel is making her decision out of concern for the people of Lumiere?
none.
So your argument is fictitious. It's invented.
Nah, because you don't understand my argument, but I accepted that. What did I say about Mayel's ending? Can you repeat back to me what I said like 5 times at this point over the course of this? What did I say about Mayel's ending?
We've talked a lot about Mayel's ending. You tell me.
Nah, I'm not gonna. No. You're using your
Because you have
manipulation,
nothing. You don't
Steven.
have anything. No, you don't have anything about the end. All of your arguments are incoherent.
Okay, if you say so. If you say that my arguments are incoherent, I'm okay with that because
Like
your
here's another
opinion of
reason.
my argument does not matter at
Hypothetically,
all.
would Mayel have repainted all of Lumiere if she couldn't have Verso?
Wait, what? Can you repeat that question?
Would Mayel have repainted all of Lumiere if she couldn't also bring back Verso?
Mayel could have repainted Lumiere. Yeah, she didn't have to bring back Verso, but she did. Yeah, sure.
She wouldn't have.
But that would have been the perfect ending. We can't have perfect endings. She's
It has nothing to do with
selfish.
perfect ending.
She's
It's that
selfish. Hold on,
she's
I
not
agree with you.
doing
She's
something
selfish.
to save.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's
Selfish
yeah,
by
she's
the
not.
end.
Yeah, but we're not arguing
You know
that.
what usually
We're not
usually
arguing that.
aren't
We're not
by the
arguing
end of the
that. We're not
character
arguing
arc.
that. We're not
You're
arguing
not
that. We're
selfish
not arguing
anymore.
that.
That
We're
means
not
you've
arguing that.
regressed.
We're not arguing that. We're not arguing
We were
that
arguing
because
whether or not she grew as a
okay.
character, and if she's still selfish by the end, she has no character growth.
Okay, we're back at square one.
You said she was selfish by the end. Why were people so mad about Jaime at the end of Game of Thrones? Because all of his character development got axed for him just saying, actually, I just love my sister. That's why people were so upset. It was a complete character regression.
Your argument has contradiction from the literature that we're going over right now.
What is contradicted? What part contradicts what I just said?
You're saying that with that ending, she would have no character development, but everything about everything that she has went through implies that she has gone through at least a little bit of character development.
No, that's not what character. Do you think character development is when a character goes through things?
No, my ninja.
Then why did you
Did I
just
say that?
that she?
Did I
Yes,
say that? Did
you
I say
said
that?
she went through all those things. Therefore, character development.
I think you're being bad faith. Like there's no way. There's
Okay,
absolutely
it's a
no
super simple
way.
question. What's the character development then?
What's bad faith? What's bad faith? What's good? I've already answered this. Like I remember every part of our argument, but you're just
No,
being
just
stubborn.
give me one example. The only example that you gave was
The funeral. The funeral.
That's not character development.
Her being surrounded by death and talking to the side characters about it, and all the side characters being like plagued by death, but her like commenting on that and like essentially processing that.
She brought them all back.
My God. You can accept something and also want to bring someone back. These things are not mutually exclusive. I can't believe you're such a moron. Dude, how is this the great streamer destiny?
No, you just have no media literacy. You fundamentally misunderstand a protagonist's journey.
Shitting on you. Gosh, shitting on you is like taking a shit in the morning, okay? It's like something I have to do, you know? Dude,
you think that
you'll understand.
Going through an event is just a thing. That's the challenges part of the journey for the protagonist. But the part that comes after the challenge that you're missing, you think that it's just the challenge is character growth. No, it's the revelation. It's the death and the resurrection of the character, and then their ascension into a greater being that allows them to return home with their newfound knowledge. But it's not just bringing everything back. That represents a
How do
failure in
you?
growth.
You're talking about a redemption. That is the
No,
completion of
I'm
a character
talking about
development.
a standard. There's like the standard
No.
hero's
Mm-mm.
journey. There's a
Mm-mm.
standard
You're
protagonist journey.
describing the completion of character development. I'm just simply talking about regular character development.
There's
Any
no
character
such thing as
development.
partial character development. That's called arrested development, which means they didn't develop. That's a lack of a character arc.
Okay. All
Give
right,
me
if you
okay,
say
wait.
so.
Oh no, this is super easy.
Yeah.
Give me a single example in any medium, in any piece of media that only has partial character development. Give me one example of that.
I can't think of any off the top of my head. Probably Star Trek. I think there's a lot of temporary like character development when
Which
it comes
Star Trek?
to that show. TNG.
What movie?
Yeah, TNG.
Give me an episode example. What episode?
Not a specific episode, but overall.
What do you mean overall? I need a specific episode if we're going to do the
Why
analysis.
are we doing? Nah, no,
Because
you
the
don't want to.
structure
You
of the
don't.
story
Nah,
is
you don't.
the structure of the story is within the episode.
You don't want to look at the greater context for anything. And TNG is my favorite series. It's like one of the best TV shows to ever exist. Period.
Okay,
How
fine.
could you not?
Give me an
It's
example
like
of a
it's
character.
like one of the most.
I don't know if they.
Sure.
Give me an example of a character.
Yeah. Picard.
Okay, so if I look at Picard at the very beginning of TNG, is he the exact same by the very end?
No, he's not the exact same at the very end.
Okay. In episode, how many episodes is the TNG?
However, he didn't complete his character development. Did he at the end of TNG?
Did he go through challenges and
Yes.
experiences and then
Yes.
have revelations and learn new
Yes.
things and
Yes,
apply
he
those
did.
in a way that made him a better? Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
a completed, that's
Yes.
a character arc.
Yes.
That's a completed character
Yes.
journey. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, then he did.
No.
No what?
Because some of his some of his completion of his, like some of the development of his character comes from outside of TNG. Like the completion of the character development.
Why do you
And
say
you know that.
completion? You don't have to be a perfect character.
Have you ever watched Picard season 3?
No, but what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Okay.
You understand,
That's
for
okay.
instance, that
I'll tell you.
Harry
No, hold on.
Potter-
I'll tell you. I'll
No,
educate you.
'cause
I'll educate you about Picard. Okay. In Picard season 3, he finally gets to resolve that inner conflict of, okay, I may or may not have had romantic relationships, and I never came to terms with myself on whether or not I'm endangering a family of mine just simply because I have so many enemies. That is something that he started in the TNG series, but was only completed in Picard season 3.
That's fine. You can have character development. That doesn't mean
That's
that
just
the
great,
person is
yeah.
like, what? Can I finish my sentence? Wait, what was I going to say?
Yeah,
What was I going to say?
go ahead.
Okay. You can
No,
have
no,
character
no. I
development.
assume you're. No. I know what you're gonna say.
What am I
You're gonna say, you can start a character development arc and finish by some sense, but that doesn't mean they've reached the full completion of their entire character, because that would be an unfair standard to have for characters.
No, it wouldn't be an unfair standard. It's just thematically and story-wise, that's just not how it works. You can have complete character arcs. That doesn't mean the person is perfect by the end.
Hold on,
Harry
I did
Potter
get your
would be an
argument
example of
right,
that. There are
right?
character arcs in all 7 Harry Potter books where he learns stuff and he's a better person by the end. But that doesn't mean, I wouldn't say that, oh, his character arc didn't exist in the first book because we're not at the 7th book yet.
Have you ever played God of War?
Nope.
In God of War 4, I think, or 5. Fuck, I think it's Is it
Why
Ragnarok? Yeah, I
we don't
think
have to use
it was
analogies. We can
Ragnarok.
just stay exactly on where we are.
Sure.
What did Mael grow as? What did she learn? What was a revelation she had that would
She's
change her
learned,
approach?
sure. She's learned you can grieve, and at the same time, you can still want something selfish for yourself, even though you've learned the process of grieving.
What is grieving
Like for example,
thematically?
you
Hold
would
on,
bring
example. No,
Reckful.
no,
Would you bring
no, no, no,
Reckful
no, no,
back?
no, no,
Would
no.
you bring
That doesn't
Reckful
apply
back
here.
if you
You're
had the
funny.
ability?
You're
Would you
literacy
bring
so
it?
bad to try to compare
Fully
this to a real life
applies. It
thing.
fully applies.
What does it
No, but
mean?
that's my entire point. That's why it's relevant to argue on the whether or not they're real, right? Because you're skipping that part because that also applies to the Mayel shit, right? Because we can't argue whether or not Mayel goes through character development if we can't argue on whether or not it's a real world or not, right?
It doesn't. It's no. It has. Reckful is not a plot device. It's not a story. We don't have to have character arcs.
Oh
It's
my god.
real life is different
Oh my
than a
god.
story.
Oh my god.
There's not a hero's journey in real life. It's a different thing.
God. I can't with this. This is so retarded, dude.
What does it mean thematically when a character learns to deal with grief? What does that mean thematically?
What are stories?
Why can't you answer the question?
What are stories except as a way to teach us lessons about life sometimes?
Teaching a lesson about life is not real life itself.
Okay, hold on. When people are dealing with grief in the Expedition 33 universe, like, have you ever dealt with grief yourself when it comes to Reckful?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm assuming so. Okay.
All
right.
I don't know why.
So you reached acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that you have not had kind of a character development arc for that yourself in a way?
The
answer is yes, by the way. All right, I don't know why you're trying to provide an explanation. Like,
no,
it should just be yes with no explanation.
Because real life doesn't have it doesn't have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, rising action, climax.
I'm not saying that. No one is saying that.
Wait, here's a story. Let me tell you a story.
What's the point of biographies? What is the point of biographies? Hold on. What is the point of a biography if not to storyize like your life, like a self-written biography?
Exactly. Yes. Because your life is not a story. The whole challenge of writing a biography, the whole challenge of doing documentaries is to try to find a story to tell. It's one of the hardest parts. It's literally one of the hardest parts of making a good documentary or biography. If somebody were to approach it like what you're saying, they suck. That would be called a history book. If it's just an accounting of facts, they were born this day, then they did this thing, then they did this thing. A storyteller tries to find a story and then craft by picking the appropriate facts and then telling a story like that through a biography or a documentary. That's a skill.
You're right. Okay, you're completely right on everything.
Yes,
okay,
here's the question. Let's make it more comparable.
Let's
make it more comparable.
Right.
Let's say that.
Hold on. I already say you're completely right. Why are you still continuing?
If you're gonna just meme, then I'm just gonna keep talking. You forfore your chance to respond seriously if you just meme through an answer because you know you're fucking wrong.
No, I'm not memeing. I'm not memeing.
You forfeited your chance to respond seriously when you said, "Oh, yeah, right." Okay, let's make this more comparable. You asked me if I would revive Reckful. Let's say that I could step through a portal and Byron was there, and I was like, Byron, I can bring you back to this world. And Byron was like, please don't. I'm fucking depressed. I hate myself. I'm just gonna probably try to kill myself again. I don't want to do it. I say, oh, no, Byron, don't worry. You won't kill yourself. I'll put you in a wheelchair so you can't jump off a balcony this time. Would that be right to bring him back?
Kind of. Yeah. Would you not?
Okay.
Hold on. You realize that in your in your analogy, the reason why that analogy sucks is because in your analogy there exists an afterlife. There exists an afterlife where he is presumed to be happy. Where he is presumed to be happy. Okay. All right. You want to debate? Dude, I gave up at the beginning, okay? At some point, do you know how many times I said, can we just end this debate now? Because clearly we're going to agree to disagree. Dude, now you're memeing. No, I'm not memeing, okay? It's so simple. It's so easy to understand, all right? Because if you imply that there's an afterlife, then what is the point of bringing someone back to the living world? Wouldn't you just let someone live in heaven? That's silly. Like, in my opinion, that's fucking silly to me. But, whatever, it's okay. Yeah. You were mean for the last hour because we were going in circles. Like, you can't argue that we weren't going in circles, okay? I'm sorry. Yeah, of course I'm gonna meme after we run out of arguments. Yeah, of course.
I love at all. It will be another version. It will be a copy of a copy. How many
Okay. All right. I've had enough of B33 actually. Can we just go to Asmongold or some shit? Oh my god. He never said afterlife. No, but if he says that there's a portal in which you could see Byron. It's Byron, right? Not Myron. If you could see Byron, okay, would that not imply that there is another plane of existence that Byron is living?
Well,
What?
okay, what if you modify the argument so there's no portal, but right before he dies, he leaves a note saying, please, if you can bring me back to life, please, God, don't bring me back to life. I'm miserable. I hate my life. Please don't bring me back to life. There's no portal. He just writes that note and then kills himself.
Um. hmm, I would bring him back to life.
I know. Do you know why you would?
Why? Tell me the meme answer before you leave and disconnect.
Because you're
Like a
committed.
loser.
You're committed. You're
Yeah.
pot committed. You literally can't back out.
Wow, you really got
you
me.
think nobody. I'm curious.
You
Do you think
got
that
me,
anyone should
dude.
have the right to euthanasia at all?
No, I mean, if they make the decision to, but you're saying that you have the ability to bring them back. If you have the ability to bring them back, that changes the argument,
So if somebody is
right?
dying of
That
cancer
changes
or whatever,
that
let's say somebody
changes
has cancer,
that changes the literal world that we live in.
somebody has cancer. Somebody's cancer. Somebody's cancer. They're going to die in 1 year, and they elect for euthanasia right now. And I have the ability to bring them back. I should bring them back
Is that with the cancer or without the cancer?
with the cancer.
The
Recco
fuck
would come
no!
back
What
with
the
the same
fuck?
mental
They're
disability,
gonna
right? He would come back with the
they're gonna
depression,
come
right?
back to die again, like in
Yeah, so would
another
Recco. He would come back
separate
and
way.
commit
That's
suicide
silly.
again.
Okay, that's not the same, and you know that's not the same. It's a mental
How is
issue
it
that you
not
can
the same?
treat. It's a mental issue that you can treat. Sorry, that's why I ask whether or not you can cure the cancer. Are they coming back with the cancer? Then no. If they're coming back without the cancer, then it's obviously you can bring them back, right? Of course.
Why didn't
That's silly.
Why didn't she bring Verso back and cure his cancer then? Why is he miserable as fuck at the end?
Did Verso have cancer or like what are you talking about? I'm kidding, joking. Dude, can we just agree to disagree? Is that okay?
Why was
Can
he
we
miserable
reach,
at the end? If she brought
can
him
we
back,
reach a peace accord?
why
Can we
didn't
reach
she?
a
Why
peace?
didn't she? No, because you've been memeing too much on my media literacy. You
Mhm.
truly have no ability. You absolutely
Yeah,
do not understand
tell
media.
me.
It's
Yeah, tell
driving me
me.
crazy.
Okay, all right. I don't understand media.
So
I
Verso's
guess.
begging to die, saying he's going to hate his life. When she brings it back, he's not happy. So should you have no? So, well, at least at the very least, you agree that the Lumiere people don't have any autonomy and literally are puppets then for the gods to play with and to bring back and to kill again, over and over again as they see fit.
It's complicated.
No, it's not. That's literally what they're doing, and you think that she should be allowed to do that.
No, it literally is complicated, and you know that. You're just being
No.
bad faith. No,
No,
it's
pretty simple.
complicated. No, it's complicated.
Was he brought back
No,
with
it's
all his same
complicated.
misery
It's complicated.
after begging to die? Yes, he was. Is the world still fractured and completely it's more fucked than it was before, right? Yep. Is it going to continue to get even more fucked? Yep. Is she going to be able to do anything about it? Nope. Are all those people just going to die again? Yep. And then is she going to die? Yep. And her real life body's going to die? Yep.
I think if I had cancer, but I could grant myself another 5 years to live, despite knowing that I'm gonna kill myself at the end, I think I would still want that 5 years to live. Would you not agree?
The point isn't whether or not you would take it or not. The point is you have the option to choose. That's why
You're a
real
retard.
and the
You're a
baby
retard.
people
Yeah,
aren't.
okay. All right, dude. You're a retard.
You see how you just own, you see how you just fucking shat in your, you thought you were diarrheaing at me and you just ate all your own shit on that one? Do you see what you just said there? Do you see, you did something. What you just did there was what Verso wishes he could do, but he can't because he's not real. Verso wishes he could make the choice to live or not, like you would, but he can't. And when he chose to die,
He's fixed.
Mael
But he's
forced him back
fixed.
into the world
But he's
for her own
fixed. But he's
pleasure.
fixed.
He's not
But
fixed.
he's fixed.
He's not fixed.
He's
Really,
fixed.
is he?
He's fixed.
So he's happy at the end.
Also, to be frank, why do
Wait,
you
no, wait,
care
he's
about
fixed?
Verso
How's he
so
fixed?
much? Like,
How's he
fuck
fixed?
that guy. Like, you
How's he
realize that
fixed? How's he fixed? How's he fixed?
he
You said he was fixed. How's he
values
fixed?
his own
How's he
selfish
fixed? How's he
reasons.
fixed?
He values
How's he
his own.
fixed? How's he fixed? How's he fixed? You said he was fixed at the end. How's
He
he
grows
fixed?
older. That's a hint. Growing older is
Really?
the
Then why
hint.
isn't he happy? Why is it in black and white? Why does he slam the piano? Why does it look like he's about to cry?
Then why is it shown that he's older? Like, what's the point
Because
of that?
Mael made him older to force him to try to be happier for him,
Exactly.
for her.
That ending would be too happy if it didn't have the sad part. Like, it would be too happy if it
It would
didn't
be
have
happy
like the
if they got
piano
the sad
slam with
part.
the fucking
Yeah,
thing.
that's right. If
Yeah,
the ending
because it
wasn't
has to
what it
show the
was,
consequences. Of
that's
course, it has to
true.
show the
Yeah,
consequences.
and if
Of course,
Pikachu
it has to
showed
show
up
the
and started
consequences because it would be
thundershocking
too happy.
everybody,
It would be
the ending
way
would
too
be the intro to
happy.
Pokemon Red and Blue. What do you mean? It would be a totally different thing, but it wasn't happy. It was sad because he's sad because he wants to be dead.
You want SK to die, okay? The person who calls you friend, okay? Because you're sociopathic. Now, can we end the argument? Now that I've said
Esky?
something ridiculous, Esky, yeah, SKA. It's SKA, okay? It's SKA. Man, you don't even know how to pronounce. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. It's like basic French, bro. Dude, you're actually, dude, I'm sorry. You're just, oh, 3 debates. You've lost 3 debates in a row. How do you feel? How do you
The
feel?
most frustrating people are people who invent their
Yeah.
own non-canon fanfic and then they use that to justify
Like
their
you
hatred
realize
with
you have
absolutely
not
zero
you
citation
realize you have
from
not
anything in the
moved
media.
you have not moved me a single inch despite the fact that I've engaged in good faith, right?
But you haven't engaged in good faith. You continue to try to
Okay,
overgeneralize
I mean, you can disagree.
arguments,
You
knowing
can disagree
yeah, but I can give
with
examples of you
that,
not
but
being good
from
faith.
my
And now you're committed yourself to absurd positions. Like if somebody begged to die and they said they wanted to die, you should bring them back anyway. Like that's like, should people be allowed to choose to die? Is euthanasia valid at all? And
okay,
you're like, no,
I have
actually,
a
I
real
think all
world.
euthanasia is
Hold on,
bad.
hold on, hold on.
Like
I have
you're
a real
committed
world
to the most
example.
ridiculous
I have a
position. By
real
the
world
way,
example.
if
I have a
you
real
guys can take
world
in 6 months,
example. I have a
ask her again in 6 months. Hey, do you support euthanasia? She'll say immediately, oh yeah, of course. Everybody should have the right to die. It's like probably
yeah,
one
of
of the most
course,
fundamental rights
of
a human being
course,
should have. The
of
people in Lineage
course,
don't have
of
that right. They don't
course.
get to choose
Yes,
that.
I agree
Because
with
Maya
that.
will
I agree with
constantly
that.
bring you back to
Okay.
keep you as a puppet for her because they're not real people.
Yeah, that assumes she's gone through no character development.
But you can't point to a single bit of character development.
We're gonna loop. It's looping. Oh, we do be looping up out here. We do be looping. You know what I mean? That's what you sound like.
Why did Alicia, why did she go into the canvas?
I actually don't remember. Why did she go into the canvas in the first place? To pull out the dad, right?
Yep. And then what happened? And then she gets
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then what? And then what?
and then she's reborn after what, Clea, or no, she's overrun by Eileen's fucking
yeah,
coma or
Clay,
whatever.
yeah, Clay threw her in, and then Leon's like, bro, I'm gonna give you a new life. That's gonna be awesome.
And then she's trapped there. How is that? What is the character growth? There's
the
nothing.
character growth is that she's experienced both worlds.
Experience is not growth. Why do you
in
think
equal
why do you
parts.
keep saying that? What?
Is there any character in this entire story that has gone through character development for you? Or do you think that literally nobody went through any kind of character development? Period.
Some of the
do you think Verso went through character
development. Ask me
development?
a question and then you
Do you
didn't
think
let me
Verso went
finish.
No, because I'm
It seems
trying to
the
figure out
character
your
development-
standard.
It seems like the character development for these characters has happened in the lore or whatever. So I think for Verso, I think he did. It seems like he wandered for a bit, kind of got like bored or whatever, and then saw an opportunity to right the ship, to write things as they should. And then that's when he joined up with Mael, and then he helped her go through the end with real Renoirs or whatever, fucking barrier breaker, and then did that. But I think most of this is off. You don't see this during the game itself. It's like a referenced in lore.
Okay, buddy. All right. That's great. You already know that your answer was half-assed, but you said it anyway, so props to you for bravery. Because you're implying that there's a lot of the immediate example that you can think of the top of your head is character development that happened, but outside of the main plot of the story. It is stuff that happened.
You know there can be a story where the character development happened before the story begins, right? Like there can be static characters that don't develop throughout the whole story.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say Verso. Possible, right? I don't think he developed in the story. I don't think Verso did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sure, I
agree seems to be unaware that there can be a story where the characters don't actually grow through the story, right?
Sure. Then what is the point of the acceptance ending where she chooses Verso's ending?
Development. Because that represents real character development. Now she's grown and accepted that a bad thing happened in real life and her brother's gone, but she's accepted that he's gone, and now she's going to go
I
back
agree
to
with you.
reality. And
I agree with you that that represents real character development. Yeah, I agree with that.
And in the other ending,
Yeah, you assume that there's no character development. That's your
it seems like
assumption.
you assume there is.
What is it? The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Something like that.
here's a question. There's a big twist in the game, right?
Yeah,
How does Mael's
you might want to
mission
be
change
specific.
after the twist happens? When Mael sets out from Lumiere, what's her goal? It's to stop the
Dangerous.
Gommage and to save all the people, right?
Yeah.
After she finds out that everything is not as it seems, if you choose for her to remain there forever, is she not on literally the exact same mission that she set out from Lumiere as a 16-year-old on?
No, the lesson is to learn nuance.
What the fuck? Oh my god, that's a troll. Is she trolling Zip Zip? I can't tell sometimes.
No,
can't tell either, dude.
I get it. Zip Zip is in here because Destiny alone is not enough to debate me. Okay, so you got to
That's
do
not
it
an
1v2.
answer. The goal is to have nuance. The question is how has her mission changed?
It's changed because they now know that the Paintress wasn't the issue of behind the
Why
Gamage.
do you keep saying I don't? Have you never been in
Wait,
therapy
hold
before?
on.
Have you? What do you?
I've
You
been a
seem to
lot more
think that,
therapy
like,
than you. Okay, trust
Okay,
me.
you ever done
Yeah.
okay, like just going through an experience is not growth. You know that, right? It's your reaction to
Yeah.
the experience, and then
Sure,
it's
I
the
agree with you.
behavioral
I agree
change
with
that you
you.
have afterwards.
I agree with
So
you.
why do
Yeah, I
you
agree
keep
with you.
saying that she
I agree with
experienced
you.
a thing? That's why I was asking for what was the different behavior. That would be the growth. So she set out from Lumiere to save Lumiere against the evil Gomaging, and then after the big plot twist happens, does her mission change, or is she on the exact same mission still?
Is there anything wrong with being on the exact same mission?
Because you're saying
Well,
she
it would
grew
be
and changed, but she
It would be
didn't.
very strange if all of the facts changed and you still find yourself on the same mission. Seems to imply then that the twist was irrelevant, which seems to imply that the character's not responding, changing their actions to their environment or their experiences.
Yeah, but the twist didn't do anything to change her perception of the Lumierans, right?
Not the Lumierans of Verso.
Is that correct? Is that
her brother?
Okay. What about the Lumierans?
She doesn't care about them. She cares about Verso.
Okay, if you say so. But
Who does
I'm just saying.
When Lune and CL are expressing all their disappointment, maybe I just don't remember this. Who are they looking at more? Who are they more upset with? Mael or Verso?
Wait, at which ending?
When Lune and CL are upset or whatever, when they're getting mad about getting unpainted and their whole world's gonna fall apart or whatever, who are they glaring at more? Who are they expressing more disappointment with? Verso or Mael?
Verso.
Yeah, Mael doesn't give a fuck about these people. He doesn't even know these people. He doesn't care. They're all puppets to her to represent their stand. They're not even real people.
Hold on. Wasn't Mael dying during that? Wasn't she was literally physically like fucking fading away, no?
What does that have to do with anything? I'm saying that the disappointment from
you're
other
putting
side
a standard.
So
You're putting a standard on Mael that is unreasonable at that point in the plot. You're basically saying that based off of the side characters' reaction to the ending, that you're willing to judge Mael on? Hello?
I'm saying that the side characters were closer to Verso than they were to Mael.
I agree with that, sure. But why do you think they were disappointed in Verso?
Because they felt like he lied to them.
No, it's not just that, right? It's not just that. It's in addition to the breaking, hold on, in addition to the breaking of trust, it's also because he made that selfish decision for everybody. That's why. He didn't consult any of them. He didn't ask them. He didn't ask them any of their opinions. All right? He didn't go to them and go like, yeah, you know what? I want to do this. I want to make it happen, right? No, he didn't care about anybody's opinion but himself. And you know that for a fact. You know that. Except for
Did
me and
Luna and
Monaco.
CL, did they ever appeal to Mael and say, hey, please save us? Hey, we don't want to die. Please save us. You should abandon your real life family and save us.
No, because the entire point between Lune and CL is that they have both accepted that one day they will suddenly die, right? Because that's the entire point of the Lumerans, is that they all accept that one day they're all going to die by a certain age. So they know these coping mechanisms far better than any Countess Andre, right? So of course they're not going to be pleading on their fucking knees. They're expeditioners who literally signed up to have a less peaceful death than the Gomaged because they believe the cause is right.
Damn, it sounds like Mael should have learned something from them.
No, they are people. They are people who have at the same time accepted grief, but at the same time, they're not willing to accept that death is the only answer to life.
But
isn't that a
you just
much
say all
better
people
message?
die?
Isn't that a better moral? Isn't that like a better theme than what you're saying? Isn't that like a better storytelling thing than whatever you're saying? Because your way of interpreting a story is so boring, so drab, and so devoid of life. But my interpretation is more nuanced, less in clear obscure, less in like you fail to interpret what
to be clear, if you're
Painted
saying
Alicia wanted. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. Then let's use an artist standard. So what is the message then? What's the positive message that somebody would take from Mael's ending? What do you take from that as an individual? And relate this to me, to some human experience then.
There's not really a positive message, but that's the point, right?
So then no, then it's not, because there is a positive message from Verso's ending. Is
Hold
an
on, what
easy
do you-
analog to all sorts of grief.
I'm sorry. Is Zip Zip just in here to chuckle like a fucking +1,
Yep.
Half the time you're talking to me,
admin?
you're just memeing and shit. So sure.
Okay.
What is the message you take from Verso's ending is sometimes bad things can happen in the real world, but we can't get lost in drugs or coping mechanisms or whatever forever. We have to learn to grow and to advance and move on with life.
Okay, growing is good, but nuance is also good, right?
You can't say nuance when you don't have an
Nuance
argument.
doesn't mean anything.
You can't just say nuance. That doesn't mean anything. There is no
No,
nuance in
because
Miles' ending.
because
You
I
said it was
have
a bad ending.
no because I've gone into the nuance like 50 times at this point, but you
No,
just
there is
fail
no
to
nuance.
accept it.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay. Wait. Sorry. Explain it
yeah,
again.
Then stop saying
go
nuance and say what it
ahead.
is.
No. Yeah, what is positive about Miles' ending that I can take from that as a real human being? What's the positive message?
Hold on. You were talking about the artist's interpretation. Can I get to that first? Because you talked about that.
Sure, but I'm talking about as a consumer, but sure, you can give me the artist as well.
Okay. So clear obscure, all right? The entire point is that it is light and dark. Okay, I'm sure we can
Please
both
stop
agree.
just trying to fucking meme through the name of the fucking
I'm not
thing.
memeing. I'm not memeing.
my
You're
God.
just assuming that my argument is just me. Okay, I give up. You just don't.
No, sorry. Okay, explain. Go ahead. Clear
give up,
obscure.
dude.
Go ahead. No, say it.
Both endings have their flaws.
No,
That
I'm
doesn't
saying,
mean
what
that-
can I take? What am I supposed to take from Miles' ending?
Can I?
No,
Oh
don't
my
say both endings.
God.
Tell me what you take from what is
Oh
the
my
artist supposed to
God,
take from Miles'
dude.
ending, and what does the consumer take from Miles' ending?
It means that even if you bring everybody back that you believe to that you love, there are still consequences. Is that not a fair interpretation? I think that's a fair
So the interpretation is
interpretation.
if I bring people back to life, there's consequences?
Yeah. What are
Okay,
you
I didn't
In real
talking
life,
about?
you bring
In real
people
life?
back?
You can bring people back to life in real life?
Okay, See, this is what I mean by bad faith. Okay, you know that I don't believe in that. You know I don't believe in that. But a good one.
I'm asking
Yeah.
you, but I'm asking you, what is the real life message? What are we supposed to take, and what is the artist trying to communicate? What is the message, the theme, the purpose?
You tell me what I think. Because clearly what I say does not matter. Because whatever I
the
say
problem, I
just
can tell you
simply
what
does
you
not
think.
matter.
The
I
issue that
guess.
you're running
Yeah.
into is the only weird argument you had was this weird genocide argument, but you realize there's not really conveyed in the meaning. There's nothing for an individual.
Okay,
to
you're
take from
going
that.
to the
Like, what's
the
purpose?
genocide argument, but that's a different argument from Miao's
I
character
know, but
development,
that's
and you know that.
Yeah, but there is no character development. That's why you don't have an answer. Because the development is generally where the message comes from. When a character develops, the development and the reaction to the bad experiences, you keep bringing up an experience, but it's the reaction to the bad experiences, the new behaviors they learn, the new tools that they have to deal with the problems that they couldn't deal with before they had the experience that allows them to return to the mortal realm as a developed character. That's usually the positive message that we learn. But there is none for Mael. That's why you can't give an answer. But I can give you one for Verso's ending. So I'm asking again, what is the positive message that a consumer is supposed to take from Mael's ending?
You bring everybody back. That's the positive message.
If you bring people back to life, I'm asking you the real life as a human being. What am I supposed to walk away from my computer thinking? Man, I learned this thing.
Is that it's okay to have fantasies.
So there is no real world applicability. It's a theme that exists only
There
in
is
the world of fantasy.
absolutely real world. Every single time
What's
you play
the
a
real
video
world
game,
applicability? That's what I'm asking. What's the real world
playing-
applicability? Please don't just give me some vague general statement.
Okay,
What is
okay,
the real
easy,
life
easy.
applicability?
You playing Expedition 33.
It's the Matrix. Literally.
You're using the video game as a means to escape and take a break from your real world issues. But at the same time, you're not letting the video game swallow you up, right?
But you are
So-
though.
No.
However,
You know what?
however,
Hold on, wait. No,
but
I agree.
hold
I wanna
on.
agree. Oh,
Hold
go ahead.
on, I agree with you. Okay. Yes, in Mael's ending, the reason why that's bad is because there is nothing intrinsically wrong in using a fantasy world to cope, but it is implied that she will have a hard time or an impossible time to break out of it. So she does not reach acceptance in that way. It's an overindulgence in the video game rather than playing a video
Yes.
game to cope. But
Oh my god, I agree with
Hold on.
everything you're saying. Correct.
okay, so what do you disagree on? So I'm glad you came around to my position.
I did. And the position
Yeah.
is Mael didn't grow as a character. That's why her ending was the bad one. And you, even with your take of like, well, you shouldn't play video games forever. Correct. You should leave them. You should step out of the game, out of the painting, and join the real world. Even if in the real world your face is scarred or you can't flip around and attack with swords like you can in the video game, you go back to the real world. That's the lesson that you learn. Mael did not learn that lesson in her ending.
Exactly.
Which is why the character growth didn't happen.
Yes.
The character
You
development was
finally
not
got
there.
it. Yes,
Correct.
you finally got
Okay,
it. You
okay,
finally got it. Okay? Because the ultimate argument is that the best ending is locked behind the two bad endings. You have two bad endings, but it could have been three endings. Okay? Because remember, Verso only read the painted Alicia's letter only after they killed the paintress, and the Gamage was too powerful to stop. The letter said, okay, clearly mother and father represent two sides of the same coin, just like how Verso and Mael represent two sides of the same coin. However, if you try to look deep enough, there is a third option, but you have to understand nuance to get there. You can let Verso die, but at the same time, you can still let Mael stay in the painting for a period of time, and then she pulls herself back out if only both Verso and Mael would come to terms with who they are as people. So you can give both the autonomy to do so, but they both forsake this best ending for themselves because they're selfish and they only think in clear obscure. That is so much of a better message to the entire game than anything else. Otherwise, there would be no point to paint Alicia.
That's Verso's ending. That's Verso's ending.
No, that's not the best ending. That's not the best ending.
They both accept who they are. Verso finally disappears, and Alicia finally
No, the
goes back to
best
the world.
ending. No, the reason why the best ending is not possible is because it forces us to contend with the extremes. That's why. But the best ending could entirely be possible if Mael actually endured and got enough character development to where she realizes for sure, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that indulging in a little bit of fantasy is a great thing. However, you shouldn't stay in it forever, right? Basically, that's the entire point of her living two entirely different lives. Otherwise, there would be no point in doing that in the first place. She lived 16 years in the real world and 16 years in there, and she recognizes both as family. She has the capacity in her to do that, but she chooses not to in her ending. So therefore, that is a character flaw on her part. I agree with that. But in a whole, the entire theme of the entire story is that typically gods do things for selfish reasons without considering the thoughts and prayers of their own creations, which is reflected back in this. It's like Greek mythology. They don't give a fuck about any of the denizens of the mortal world.
It's not like Greek mythology. Please don't make the
Okay,
comparison.
all right.
But so then Mael doesn't develop by the end of Mael's ending. She's the same as in the beginning. She just wants to stay in the fantasy world forever.
I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm not gonna give you any more answers. Like this is, yeah. I think this is all bait. This is all.
You know,
I
she's
think.
good
I
at
think
Destiny, that's
because
why.
because people are saying that like I've been trolling you this entire time, but no. The only reason I began trolling you is because we keep on going in loops and you keep on making the same retarded arguments in which I have the same retarded answers for, and like we just never come. We just never move the debate forward. It just never moves forward. Period. Except for now, I guess. But like
The
it's
reason
just
I
like
can't move
it's
forward is
silly.
typically the way that these arguments work in
Yeah.
an actual media debate setting is both people would cite text from the work, and then we would argue over our warring interpretations of the text, supported by other parts of the work. That's how it would work. But you're just
Sure.
giving your
So the
projection
best hold
interpretation
on,
of
hold
things
on.
that
The
don't
best
exist. They're
ending.
saying the
Hold on. The best ending is not possible in this game, but there potentially lore-wise could be a best ending. However, that's fanfic.
I'm not
The
here to
reason why that's
argue over a
fanfic is
hypothetical third ending.
because yes, no, it's not. You're saying it's hypothetical, but that's the entire point of what the game is trying to tell you.
That's
Otherwise, what was the
retarded.
point?
That was
What was the point of Alicia's letter? What was the
that's
point
like saying
of her
every
letter?
single that's like saying every
What? No,
single
tell me.
ending.
What's the
That's
point
like
of her
saying
letter?
every
What's the point of her letter? What's the point of her letter? No, we're not moving on to answer this. What is the point of her letter? What's the point of Painted Alicia's letter to Verso? What's the point? What's the point of the letter?
wasn't it? It was to give I think the point of the letter was to give it to Mael, wasn't it?
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything. What was the purpose of the letter to put in the game? Like, what was the point of it in the lore?
She was trying
Answer
to
the question.
stop. I think she was trying to stop Mael from killing the paintress.
Okay, what does that communicate? Like what?
She do-
Because
she doesn't want
keep in
her
mind
world wiped
that
away.
because keep in mind the letter was a letter to Mael, but it was also a letter to Verso. There was a part for Mael, there was a part for Verso, right?
No, I think it was basically just a letter to give to Mael.
Okay, yeah, you just lack basic literacy comprehension, and that's okay. Whatever, man. It's I can't convince someone who has Down syndrome. It's just not possible. Like
What was the meaningful message? What did she say to the brother?
She says to look deeper, and sometimes it's better to not think in extremes and try to find a way to compromise and find the best ending for everybody.
Okay, so that's fine that you don't
And
remember.
you probably shouldn't be
text is,
entirely selfish.
She said,
Yeah, okay.
brother,
All right.
I tire of the conflicts and deceptions that
Yeah,
plague
nice
our family
reading.
and
Good
theirs.
writing. Yeah, good
So
writing.
I entrust
Good reading.
you with this letter. Whether you give
Yeah.
it to her is up to you. I'm at peace with what's to come. When the time comes.
Okay,
hope
I
you
said
will
it's
be
for
too.
him and for her. I said it's for him and for her, but you denied
That's all
that.
she
But
writes to them, though.
literally,
She doesn't give them any meaningful
immediately.
message. The rest of the letter is for her.
Yeah. No, keep reading, because I know you're just reading off. You didn't memorize it. I get it. Yeah, go ahead.
Why would you assume that I do? Hold on, Zip. Do you think that I'm trying to imply right now that I memorized?
Yes,
the
go
whole
to your
text of the
+1.
letter?
Go to your dick sucker.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think you're reading it off.
yeah. Go to
No,
the
wait.
skinwalker. Yeah, go to
Obviously, I'm reading
skinwalker.
it. I looked it up.
Yes.
Why do you think I'm pretending to have that I can recall
iRobot.
perfectly in my mind?
I mean, maybe you didn't memorize it. Wait, did you? I mean, recite it right now.
No, I googled the letter.
Good troll. Good one. Okay. Good one, bro. Oh my god. Dude, you got me. Okay? You got me. That was a good one. Okay. You got me.
I'm literally using my reading voice.
Okay, Destiny, I believe you.
Yeah, of course you would believe him. Zip, is there anything you disagree with Destiny on? Ever?
Yeah.
Name one.
The one that you told me that I disagreed with him on.
Wait,
Remember?
just to be clear, I just want to put a pin on that. I just want to put a pin real quick in that cushion.
Go ahead.
So there wasn't any meaningful message in that letter to.
Wait.
To
Foodshops, you want to read our DMs?
Wait. I just want to be clear on that because you were laughing because apparently you have all this knowledge of the game that I just completely ignored. You were laughing about this, but that was just wrong. You made that up, right? You didn't remember, or you don't know what the letter was about. There was no meaningful message to the brother. It was a letter that she'd given to him to hand to Mael.
No, it's okay. I have self-confidence in the things I say, but
okay.
from your perspective, I have no meaning, and your interpretation is that nothing has any meaning, so it's okay. Okay, it's fine.
Nothing ever has any meaning. What?
Yeah, that's from your perspective. Like you're like clueless. Like when you're talking to Anna about like the meaning of like some events in the game, you're like, oh, what was the point of this? What was the point of this? Yeah, it's
Which
clear you
what
don't
name
even
one of that? Name one thing that
you
I
don't
wait.
even
Name one
you
thing.
can't
Name one thing.
you
Name one
can't
thing that
get to
that
the
happened when.
midterms if you can't pass the
Wait,
quiz.
name one thing. Name
What?
one thing. What? Wait, what one thing do you think I didn't understand?
Yeah, sure. The character developments of like all the side characters, the relationships in which Verso was like developing with the fucking side characters. What was the point of that? You said you were confused. There's a very clear like reasoning behind that. Do
Wait,
you notice
do
how
you
every single time you
remember?
ask me, hold on, hold on, hold on. You
No,
ask
no,
me a
no, no,
question,
wait, no,
okay?
no, wait,
You
no,
ask me
I
a
did.
question.
Wait,
You ask
wait,
me a
you
question.
answered.
You ask me a
You answered
question. You
another
ask me
question.
a question. You ask me a question. Can I?
You
Yeah.
recall? You know that we just had this conversation like 2 hours ago,
Mm.
right? Do you
Yeah,
remember
that's
that? I
why.
can't. I'm just.
Yeah, I said we're going in circles the entire
No,
time.
no, no,
Okay,
no, no.
we
Why did you just
literally
wait,
are
wait,
going
wait?
in
I can't
circles.
tell. Hold
Yes.
on. I can't tell if you're having a psycho moment. Hold on. We're not
Hmm.
going in circles. You. I don't know why you're just like vaguely saying that. You
I don't
just
know why
so
you're saying
you
that.
said
Yeah.
you said
Yeah.
earlier. You just made this
Mhm.
claim that I was displaying to Anna that I didn't understand anything. And then the example that you gave when I asked you for an example, you gave the same example you gave 2 hours ago, where you said, "Why did you claim that you didn't understand the point of these side stories? It's obvious what they're for." And then I gave you an answer earlier, and I said earlier, I was like, when I said I didn't understand the point, I didn't mean I literally couldn't grammatically understand what they're saying. What I'm saying is I didn't feel like they spent enough time independently developing the lives of the Lumiere people or whatever. Everything was done from the perspective really of Verso, and then kind of sort of through the family, in Mael, but really
Oh.
through
Okay.
Verso.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
didn't.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Wait, no, wait. Do you
I
remember that
legitimately forgot.
conversation?
I
Do
legitimately
you,
no. I don't. I
you
legitimately
didn't
forgot
remember
that
that?
part of the
Okay, that's
conversation.
crazy.
No. Hold
Okay.
on. Hold on. Hold on. But do you also concede that you literally forget my points constantly? Every single time
No,
you
I don't.
answer,
I'm
you
not
ask
forgetting
the
your point
same
ever.
question. Okay, dude.
What's
All
one
right.
point that you think I've forgotten? What's one point that you think I've forgotten?
Yeah, sure. You keep on going. Okay, what kind of character development do you think like Mayel has gone through? Like, what are like any like I give the
Because
reasoning, but I
every
keep on
single
giving you
time
the
I've
same
asked
reasoning
you,
every single
because every
time.
single
Like
time I've asked you for her
you
character
like
development, see, you're cutting me
because
off
again
because
the
you know you're
absence
wrong. You're cutting me off because you know you're
of
wrong.
evidence is not the evidence of absence,
What the? How does
right?
that even fucking apply here? I asked
Okay.
you what kind of character development she have, and you're just giving me experiences she's
No, it's
had.
okay.
That is not
It's
character
okay.
development. I could
It's
ask you
okay.
again, what was the character development? You can think, well, there was a funeral. That's not character development.
Which was when you answer the question, you're not giving a satisfying answer. So that's why it has to be asked
No,
multiple times because the
I
answer isn't
understand.
satisfactory.
No, it's okay. I
What
understand.
is the
No
character
answer
development?
of mine will ever satisfy him, despite like specific examples I bring up every single time. But okay, whatever.
Whether
Yeah,
that's
no,
the
no, wait,
case
no,
or
no, wait,
not,
shut up.
that's why it
Wait,
keeps
no, wait.
coming up.
Hold on, wait, no, wait.
Not the
Okay, so
same.
for the funeral, how was
Hmm.
she changed? What was the different behavior after the funeral versus before the funeral? What was the character development?
I mean, that was a step in her character development, but that wasn't like
How
obviously it
did your
wasn't
behavior
changed.
change?
It wasn't changed.
So there
But
was
like
no
that
development
doesn't.
there.
But that doesn't mean there's no character. Dude, oh my
It
god,
does
that
mean
doesn't
that.
mean
That's
there's no character
definition what it means.
development. Okay, I mean if you say so, all right. Like
What is it? Have you seen?
you don't think behavior can change based on the way that people talk about things? Because I would argue that the way that Mayel talks about death at the very beginning is not the same way that she talks about death at the end. So, but okay, good one.
Oh, what do you mean? What? Here, wait. Have you seen Cowboy Bebop?
I've only repeated the ending of it
So you've seen the
on
last
YouTube.
episodes?
No, I have not. I got bored with Bebop. It was a boring show.
Okay. Well, he wants to run away with a girl. They're going to
Mhm.
run away from their life, and then the girl dies. And Spike's response to that
Is
is that
revenge,
he
right?
changes his mind. Well, no, he's decided that he has no life.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't feel like the world that he's part of is real anymore. So he goes to die. That is a character that dies, and then his behavior changes, and then that's his development. That would be an example of development. After Gustav dies, or Gustav, Mile doesn't meaningfully change at all. They stay on the same mission. Her behaviors are the same. She's still writing in his diary, wishing that somehow he could come back. She even asks for so. I remember towards the end, she's like, "Did you let Gustav die? Could you have stopped him?" She's mad about that.
And they had a conversation where they accepted each other, right?
Literally, no, not in Mael's ending. She literally doesn't accept Verso because Verso's begging to die and she brings him back anyway.
Yeah,
So
but
what
acceptance
is
in that conversation is not the same as like the situation at the end, right?
do you think acceptance just means nodding your head when somebody tells you something?
If you think that the entire fucking story is about like people developing enough to nod their heads, I don't know what to tell you, okay?
No, that's what you just said. You said she accepted into that. What do you mean she accepted? She's never accepted Gustav's death. That's why she brings him back to life at the end.
And this is why, like,
Besides this
it's kind
funeral,
of
what's the
hold
character
on, hold on,
development?
hold on. Can I just say something that's crazy? Something that's so crazy to me is that you expect me to remember everything you said over the past 4 hours, but at the same time, you won't remember anything I've said over the past four.
Hold on.
Like, this is bad
Wait, wait,
faith
wait.
at work. This is
I've
literally bad
never
faith at work.
expected you to
Okay.
remember everything I've said. I've never said, why call me this thing? If you ask me
Because
to read,
you would
I'll
remember.
repeat it.
No, because you would remember what I said. Because I keep on answering the same question, right?
No, but you're not. So
Your
like,
answer was, why wouldn't you revive him?
Wait, no, wait. My question is, what was the Mael
We
character
we
development?
literally went through an
I
entire
know,
segment of
and
this
I'm
debate
telling
on
you
this.
that the
Yeah.
experience of the burial that's not character development. So I'm asking you, what
It's
behavior
funny
changed? Well,
how you're asking
give me
me
another example.
questions as if, yeah, go ahead. Example of what exactly?
Of her growing and evolving as a character, of her making choices that she wouldn't have made otherwise. What is her character development? At what point is she a changed character?
She didn't get enough character development as to change her choice at the end. Sure.
So then that's a lack of character development.
Yeah, but then that's kind of a stupid question, considering how, like, you can reach acceptance on someone's death, at the same time still want to bring them back. Right? Like, we're back at square one. We're literally back at square one.
Not if the person is
You
begging
don't remember.
to die.
This. Hold on, real quick. This is why I say you're bad faith. It's because you don't remember what I've said. You don't remember what I've said. You know we've been over this. It's okay. It's fine.
Just because
I'm
you
okay.
went over it doesn't mean there was a satisfying answer or a satisfying
No, that's
conclusion
fine.
to that. So he's gonna come up again.
But then I've said again. It's okay because none of Steven's answer is a satisfying answer to any of my questions, and none of my answers are a satisfying answer to any of Steven's questions.
What question do you think I haven't answered satisfactorily?
Okay, this is bait. There's no way. There's no way.
What question? What question
Just
have I not answered?
answer.
Every time you say it's bait, I do debates. You watch my content. You know that I know that this is like a tactic, right? This is bad faith. When you say, "Oh, you're being bad faith," it's because you won't answer.
Hold on. I'm using bad faith now. Yeah, specifically that instance because you've been using bad faith. No. Because you're using bad faith against me. No, because the only reason it's tit for tat. It's literally tit for tat. Because the only reason why I'm using bad faith against you now is because you have been using bad faith against me this entire time.
No, I'm asking you a question. What argument of yours did I not answer satisfactorily? Or what is the thing that you feel like I haven't justified? What opinion do I have that lacks justification? Or what do you think I haven't given evidence for?
This is a big question. This is the big question.
You can answer, Foodshops. You're allowed
you
to
just
answer.
Want stop. You just want more content. Okay, that's what you want. Hold on.
Okay. So this tells me that you know then I've justified all my answers.
No.
You know this. Yes, it is.
Nope.
That's why you can't bring it out. You know it.
No. You've given a justification. I just don't accept your justification.
Which justification was bad? What have I not justified satisfactorily?
The sentience and moral consideration
That's not relevant to any of this.
It is okay. All right. Okay, you're just bad faith. Okay. All right. I guess.
If you remember everything Destiny said, okay, he laid out earlier the three different arguments, which is the character development and the story versus the genocide.
Okay. There's no point. There's literally no point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Keep going.
Let's put aside the genocide argument. Okay.
We can't put that aside because that's the entire point, the basis of everything.
I'm just asking you, is there anything besides the genocide argument? Because I would agree with you. I haven't given you a satisfactory argument because we didn't even build up to that.
Okay, I'm glad you can agree with me on that. I'm glad you conceded.
Sure. So the genocide argument was that we were kind of working it towards the beginning, but we couldn't because we got attracted to other things, is that the people inside the canvas are not real people, such that they are not independent minds that can make choices of their own. This is exemplified through Rousseau, who is, of all the simulacrum that exist in the painting, the realist there can be, and his choices to die, okay, arguably one of the most important choices you can make in your life, is ignored by the puppet master, Mael. The painted people can be brought back, destroyed, brought back again at the whim of Mael, because those people do not have the freedom to choose to do otherwise. They're not real people. They're painted, fictitious, horrifically twisted things that make Mael happy. They're dolls.
Okay.
Do you disagree, Foodshops?
Of course I do.
And then if you disagree, my question would be, why can't Rousseau then choose to die? And if he can't choose to die, if he can't make choices on his own, how is he a sentient being? When it seems like one of the definitional things of sentience is the ability to choose to do otherwise.
Your supported argument of whether or not people could choose or have free will is backed up by good reasoning, I admit. Okay, it's not bad reasoning, it's good reasoning. But at the same time, it is contradicted by the source material. For example, Verso is able to defeat Mael in battle at the end if you choose his ending. Specifically, all right, he should have no ability to do that. Yet at the same time, it shows that the painted one could actually defeat a painter in a one-on-one environment. Despite that, I mean, you can argue that it's because Verso is like a painted one given special powers by Aline, right? Another painter's power, but he really shouldn't be more powerful than fully awakened Alicia, in my opinion. However,
Why not?
let's.
Why would you assume that any painted person, like a child, could defeat a creation of the strongest painter?
I think it's a reasonable assumption.
I think it lacks foundation.
I think the foundation can be found in fact. For example, Simon fought Renoir, and Simon lost because he's painted. And Renoir is the painter.
Most powerful painter.
He's not. Clea is. You got the fact wrong.
Ooh.
Wasn't Renoir the one that pulled Clea out?
Who pulled Clea out? I don't remember that part, to be honest.
Wasn't that what caused the fracture?
Wait, sorry, who pulled Clea out? Can you repeat that?
Didn't Renoir pull Clea out?
Did he? Fuck, let me Google this. Who pulled Clea out of the canvas?
Yikes.
No, I don't. Do you notice? Like, I admit when I don't remember my parts or I got something wrong, but Steven just brushes past it and just keeps on moving on. Right? Let me see. The painted Clea. No, sorry. Painted Clea is not relevant. Okay, the real Clea then repainted her painted counterpart, forcing her to create the Nevrons. Okay, to aid the real Renoir in his battle against the real Ling. No, I'm talking about real Clea. Hold on. Wait, I'm pretty sure she just left of her own accord. No? Let me see. Actually, she left of her own accord, right?
Her leaving would cause the fracture.
I don't think you're right, but okay, let me see. Yeah, hold on. This is about the actual lore of the game.
Is this even important? Does this matter?
Well, yeah, of course it matters, because if we're talking about the facts of the game, Steven is making a positive claim about objective reality within the game lore. So obviously, if he gets this wrong,
if he's
then he looks like a
Wait,
retard.
My claim, I don't think that's.
Of course,
my claim
it
is
does.
that I don't think that we would imagine that the
no, because he's basing a positive claim off of incorrect fact and a misunderstanding of the
whether or not Clea or Renoir is
course.
strong. Hold on, no. Whether or not Renoir or Clea might be stronger. I think she is stronger than Renoir, but it doesn't resolve the fact of why would we expect that Mael would be able to defeat the strongest painted things. Like I mean, this might be a cheat, but like I could literally say through all the gameplay, you get killed by painted things for the entirety of the game. But I mean, we could say that's not canon because obviously you're not dying to the painted creatures.
Mm-hmm.
But would we expect that Mael that existed in Lumiere would be able to defeat Simon, like at the beginning of the adventure?
At the beginning, she had to team up with a bunch of other people, sure.
And like grow and develop her power a bit and everything, right?
I think she gets stronger, but like outside of the game, I'm just not sure how much of the gameplay applies to like the lore. I just don't know. I just don't know about that, right? I just don't know how much like the combat like progression system applies to like the actual lore, right?
Super points.
Because
I just
notice
don't under-
notice
I just
how
don't-
It could
notice
go
how
either
in
way
every
in that
game,
case, right?
like for example, and those are the like in some like RPGs it sometimes does apply, and in some other RPGs it doesn't apply. So like you can't. I just don't know.
Okay, I just don't understand why we would expect that the strongest, arguably the strongest painted thing that's painted by the strongest painter. So if the mom is the strongest painter and she painted Verso, why we would expect why would we expect Alicia to be able to just automatically defeat any painting inside the game?
She literally
feel like if-
learns an ability called Gamage. Bro, I don't know what to tell you, dude. But okay. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, like, even
Well, she loses in the
We don't.
one
Hold
ending,
on,
right?
hold on. We don't have to go by that assumption. It's okay. We don't have to go by that assumption. Okay. But even then, there has been cases in which the painted has defied the will of the painter, even the strongest.
what cases?
Have you beaten Simon? Because I'm not sure. Because you're like bad at gaming. Have you beaten Simon?
I've probably done more. I have cleared more of the game than you have.
Well, that's not my
Um,
question. Okay, my question is, have you beaten Simon?
I defeated Simon and I've gotten every journal.
Okay.
I think I've read more lore about this game
All
and
right.
I've got more all the achievements on Steam.
Okay,
And I think
sure.
I've cleared all of the lore
Okay,
inside the game.
I
more than you
never,
have.
nobody
Yeah.
asked. Nobody asked. Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
So
Do you
it's,
even? I'm just curious. Actually, wait. I'm curious. Did you even collect
Mhm.
every journal?
No.
Ooh.
Okay, didn't think so. Okay. I'm curious.
Yikes.
One thing I'm curious about on this. Did you ever do Lune's like side quest stuff to figure out where her parents died and all that?
If you fully skim a book, but you haven't actually internalized any of
Holy
the
shit.
messaging,
Okay.
do you
Damn.
think
Okay.
that is the same as like actually reading
Well,
the book
no,
and
and I would say that
internalizing
has nothing to do
something?
with skimming because I'm just curious why you've never brought that up as a
Because
citation
you're
for why
because all you're
for
telling
why
me
Lune or
you're
whatever. But
yeah
that's fine.
yeah
You just asked
because
me
all
if I
you're
beat
telling me is
Simon,
that
so
you
I
don't
said yes.
read.
I did
Yeah,
beat
no
Simon. I did beat Simon. So go ahead. Go ahead.
no. Okay, so at the end of the Simon fight, Simon puts his sword out and gives it to Verso. Now,
Okay.
for that, like the reason why Simon, if he wasn't painted over, right, if he wasn't being manipulated by the painters, he probably wouldn't have fought them in the first place, right? Because it's clear by that point Simon was someone who was insane. He was somebody who has completely lost his mind and was controlled. Like I can admit that he's controlled because he even has a skin color to reflect it. Because typically when someone is painted over by Clea or something, like they look like just they look like that, right? They look like painted Clea, right? So with that being said, if he was still painted at the end of that, why the fuck would he not like why the fuck would he hand over the sword like that? Why give them the power to defy Clea? Why give them the power to defy the painters? That's a powerful weapon. That's
Why would we
his
assume
weapon.
this gives him the power to defy? No, I don't think this weapon was of any significance.
Why does it
Then
matter
what's
if
the
you can
point of giving
defy
them
the
anything?
painter or not?
Wait, hold on. What's the point of giving
It's like
them
a cool.
anything
It's
then?
just like it looks cool. But that's literally it.
Okay, so your explanation is that it looks cool. My explanation is that it looks cool and it has a deeper messaging. So therefore, my
That's fine,
explanation
but you
wins.
can't.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you can't support your messaging at all in the game. There's no indication in the game at any point that
No,
his sword is
I would-
special or that it does
I would
anything
not.
special. Oh,
Hold on.
source it.
Hold on. I would
Okay.
concede to that if it not for other supporting pieces of evidence.
Okay, what's the supporting evidence that that sword is special?
Not that the sword is special, but that the painted can defy the painter, which is the core question
What's
we're
any
trying to
evidence that
tackle.
okay, hold on, wait.
Why does it
did
matter
you
if the
just
painter can
complete-
defy the
wait.
painted?
Why did you just completely try to eject out of that argument?
Because
You very specifically said that the sword was special.
Because you know,
and I'm asking what's
because
different?
you know, hold on, because you know that if Clea had any control left of Simon, Simon would not give that sword over like that. And you know that for a fact.
Clea's already out of the canvas, isn't she?
Okay.
Why
Why
would she
is
have any
it?
control over him?
Why is it? Okay. All right. You're just wrong. Why did Simon,
Wait,
when he was
what was I
transitioning,
wrong about? Wait, is
hold
Clea
on,
still in the
hold on.
canvas? She's gone.
when Simon,
You just said I was wrong.
when
What was I
Simon-
wrong about?
when Simon was going from,
Why did you just
okay,
say I'm wrong?
if
Okay,
you
you were wrong.
if
Go
you
ahead.
would let me explain, if you would just let me explain, I can explain. Okay. So in the fight, when he goes from phase 1 to phase 2, Clea's voice reverberates in his head. even though Clea, the real Clea, is outside of the canvas, it's clear that a remnant of her control remains. Otherwise, painted Clea wouldn't be attacking you. Otherwise, like painted Simon wouldn't be attacking you. Right? Like you concede to that, right? To that fact?
No, they
They
don't
got
need.
wrong?
No, I don't. No, they don't need
Okay,
fragments
you're
of
bad
them. They're-
faith. All right, I got it. You can't make the argument. You just can't. Because we can't
I
agree
can
to the
make the
same
argument.
reality.
The argument that supports it is the letter that it's Clay is the one that gives the letter to Verso, right? That letter in that letter, she literally
Wait,
says
what?
that they
No. What? No, it was Alicia. It was painted Alicia that gave the letter to Verso, no?
oh
What?
painted
Wait, hold
Alicia
on.
gives the letter to him.
Hold
When
on.
painted what? When you get
Ooh.
really
You're
excited when
at
I
your
like mix
limit.
up a fact here, like
You're at
it's
your
super
limit.
cringe.
You're at your
I'm
limit.
literally
I
not.
get it. You're at your limit.
Okay,
Yeah, I know.
there is
You're
a painted
cornered.
family that live
Yeah.
inside the canvas that is interested in their own survival, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is Simon
Okay.
wanting to
So
fight? What does that have to do
it's
with?
nice. It's nice that you use that as a deflection from what I was getting at because you couldn't even concede to the fact
Stop. Okay,
that
hold on.
Simon
Stop. Okay,
heard
wait, no,
Clea's
wait. This is the
voice.
last one we're
Like,
arguing, and I'm done. If you can't do this, is Clay
okay,
still in the canvas? You were making the argument that Clay is still in the canvas because Simon heard her voice in her head.
no, Clea is not in the canvas
Then what is the point of this whole line of argumentation?
because a remnant of her remains in such that it still influences Simon to change from phase 1 to phase 2. His hair grows white and long like some Vegeta motherfucker, like Super Saiyan Simon, and which it is the same color as the Descendres in the canvas for a reason. It implies that he is still drawing upon Clea's power, even though she is out of the canvas. It doesn't mean that the remnants of her power is gone. He is still under the control of Clea in that matter.
Okay, and what does that show?
Does
What does that
Vegeta
have to do
ever
with
even
anything?
go Super Saiyan 3? Why do you say Vegeta? I mean Goku, right?
Wait, what is the point of what does that have to do with anything? Or what is it? What do you think that argument furthers?
Because it establishes that he is under Clea's control.
Yeah, wasn't she literally created by Clea to go fuck everything up? She'll always be under his control. She doesn't need to have a piece of her on the canvas to do that, no?
He was created by Clea. No, Simon was created by a Ling, which is then manipulated by Clea, and he did battle with Renoir, and then Clea was the one that painted over Simon. That's the lore that you are getting wrong, by the way.
So
Hold on, I'm looking this up.
Okay.
consulting the text, the ancient text.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the general gist of it is pretty correct. At least it's more correct than your retelling.
Ooh.
Even if I got some parts wrong, because
Okay.
again, it's been a while.
Why does it matter if the
Wait. Is
if
the
the
voice that Simon hears in his head, is that even Clea's voice? Or is that painted Clea?
Ooh.
That is the real Clea.
source?
The source is that it has never been implied in any way that the painted Clea has an ability to paint over people.
Ooh.
You would need to provide positive evidence for that, for a claim like that.
Okay. I'm gonna ask what I was asking before. Why does it matter if the painted person can turn against their painter or the painters? Why does that matter?
It matters because Stephen is arguing from the point of, well, they're all puppets, they have no autonomy of their own, they don't have any kind of free will, and therefore they only serve to benefit, they only exist solely to benefit the painters, but my argument is no. There are a lot of hints, a lot of evidence that point otherwise to that, because that is the entire basis for the genocide or genocide not, right?
Okay.
Yep.
I understand,
Mm.
but just because they're autonomous doesn't automatically grant them the same moral value that you would grant an actual person. Right.
Sure. So the way that I grant moral consideration is not dependent on the abilities or magical powers that somebody has.
Okay.
Yeah. Nor do I consider more muscular people to be worthy of more moral consideration than more scrawny people just simply because they have more muscle strength or physical strength and they can kill them.
Okay,
Right.
but not talking about the ability, right? Just talking about what they are.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying too.
Wait, okay, hold on. What is this claim initially about Simon?
Claim about Simon is
voice-
that Simon
voice
was
that-
able to defy Clea's will.
And how does Simon defy Clea's will?
By handing over the sword in his dying scene.
Okay, I don't think this is a story important thing. Because the sword, I don't think the sword does anything. Like, he already lost. And isn't he, it's not even that he's defying her will, isn't it? That the other people are finally defeating him?
Do you think that sure, you can argue that, but I really doubt that Clea has like planned her control over Simon to be, well, I mean, I'm gonna have control over you until the moment where you die, and then you have to hand over your belongings.
Well, Clea couldn't even really, but
That'd be
Clea,
silly,
it's
right?
not like Clea could just control Simon.
No.
She was like mind fucking him.
It goes beyond mind fucking.
No, it was just mind fucking.
No, the reason why I say that is because his hair turns white.
Yeah, so it's okay. You don't know the lore. That's okay.
What?
It was she tricked
Okay,
him. She
go ahead.
tricked Simon to manipulate
That's correct.
him.
That's correct.
After
yes.
abducting.
That's correct. Yes.
Yes. So she couldn't just control him.
But
she
the
literally had to trick him.
manipulation. Hold on. Maybe because you're reading from it right now. The manipulation was the icing on the cake.
No, the manipulation
It
was
is.
how she got him to believe what he needed to do to go and fight the people that he needed to fight.
Do you think Simon
She
had
didn't-
all this power from the very start for no reason?
No, after she feel like she got into his head, she gave him a fuck ton of power to go kill the Axons or whatever. But she had to trick him initially to do it. She couldn't just control him or whatever. She had to, I guess, trick him to.
Yeah, he was tricked. But when she was tricking him, she didn't paint over him immediately.
Okay.
Like he was tricked. It's implied that the painted over part happens later, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
right after she tricks him.
No. Right after she tricks him. Okay, hold on. When did Simon fell the Axon? Because we need to get the timeline right. When did Simon fell the Axon in Oldemir?
I think
When did
you're
that happen?
massively over-indexing on this sword thing. Like this is some huge betrayal of.
Okay, we don't have to listen. Okay, I think it's a piece of evidence in my favor, but we don't have to go over that. We can go to my third piece of evidence.
I mean, it's
now,
a little bit
okay?
unfair.
Wait.
that you're-
It
I just
literally
wanna say
doesn't
real quick,
matter if
Well,
they turn against the creator or not. It doesn't matter if they can do that.
No, I think
Just
these
because
I
they can
think
behave
these all matter.
autonomously doesn't mean that they're automatically like people. Like a Tesla can drive itself. It's self-driving. That doesn't make it like a person.
I have an issue with your interpretation, just mainly because we can argue that humans IRL follow patterns based on statistics and the way that they grow up and shit like that.
Oh my god.
Maybe
Like,
you
no.
grant value to
Hold
humans.
on. It's not like I disagree with you. It's that like the way that you're interpreting it has flaws, right?
Okay. What's the third piece of evidence?
Painted Clea. I think. Can you double check for me since you're already on the wiki? Because it's been a while since I checked. I want to get my facts right. Painted Clea is the one that created the white Nevrons, right?
I don't remember.
Okay, can you double check for me?
No, it's your evidence. You should know. If you're going to use this as your evidence, then you should already know it. Otherwise,
Oh, sure.
it seems like you're
I'll double check. But I'm
Why
pretty
would you
sure I'm
have to double
correct.
check?
Nice, good one. Good bait.
Well, no, you said it was an argument to support you. Why would you believe a thing? What?
You're the one that brought up the letter, even though you're the one reading it off of Google. So good one. Painted, Leia.
Yeah, but
See,
I
now
didn't
you're
need that before.
quiet,
Just
like a
ended up being a bonus
bitch.
for me.
Yeah, yeah. Now you're doing your troll voice. Good one. I know when you're trolling. Okay. Painted Leia.
You thought my reading voice earlier was my recall voice.
Who created? Yeah, I know what your recall voice is. Okay, especially when it comes to core transcripts. Expedition 33. Who created white nevrons? Ha! Must be a KKK Grand Wizard. White nevrons from Expedition were created by Clea and her brother Verso early in her career. Okay,
Could they be
which
black
Clea?
nevrons?
Which Clea? Let me see.
The real Clea.
Oh, hold on. Let me read. Clea created the concept of nevrons when her and Verso. Well, yeah, sure, I accept that. Verso were Spain, but that doesn't mean the white nevrons. Clea and painted Clea created the nevrons after year 49 in order to help her father get a link out of the painting. These are the nevrons we fight throughout the story today with the purpose. Okay, what about the white nevrons? The white nevrons we encounter in the story don't have the same programming as the recently created nevrons because they are older and created during young Verso and Clea's adventures. Oh, interesting. The nightmare nevrons. Oh, is that the chromatic ones? Were created as an inspiration from Clea's actual nightmares. Therefore, that's why they're creepy and aggressive. Okay, interesting. Okay, so the white nevrons are okay. Never mind on that point, I guess. But there is another point when
Winner,
it comes
winner,
to
winner,
yeah.
winner.
No, hold on.
Winner.
I admitted
Yay.
that I got something wrong, and I
Winner.
went
Yeah,
back
your
and
interpretation of the
corrected it.
entire game you got wrong, and now you corrected it, and I'm right. Thank you.
You realize that if I apply that, okay, yeah, good one, good memes. I knew that he was gonna leave. He always does that. Okay, it's fine. Okay, it's whenever he's losing, whenever he wants to leave on his own terms.
He's
Okay,
winning
he never
though,
wants to
'cause
leave.
you got something
He
wrong.
never wants to leave on because I don't have the ability to leave the same fucking. Otherwise, it would look fucking weird as fuck. Okay.
Okay, wait. Why does it
Mhm.
matter if they can turn against their creator? That doesn't prove that they are like have the same moral worth. Even if you want to do the genocide argument, which is I don't. It seems like
No,
this
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
decides
no,
the
no.
point
Because
in some ways. But
because I thought the white nevrons were created by Painted Clea as a way to
I know
defy
I'm not saying
Clea.
that. I haven't played the game. Okay, I'm saying just because you can turn against your creator doesn't mean that you are like auto deserving of like the same moral consideration or moral value as an actual person.
Yeah, but that doesn't
A Tesla
imply
can drive itself. It can be
but that
self-driving.
doesn't
That doesn't
imply the
make it
god is
forever.
yeah, but that doesn't mean the god is more worthy of moral consideration than a single human being, right? Because I don't measure shit like that, right?
Sure, but if you okay, in real life, a human being can create a AI ChatGPT that can,
Mm-hmm.
respond to people and talk and whatever and behave autonomously of
Yeah.
its creator, but doesn't make it human, right?
Yeah, sure. I agree with that. It's not the same.
And it seems like from not having played the game, it seems like in the Mael ending, what happens
Mhm.
is she revives fucking Verso, and this is a guy who did not want that,
Mhm.
did not want to,
Mhm. Yeah, she's flawed.
exist in this way, and
She's not
she
cool
makes him,
for
and he
that.
seems
Yeah.
upset about it, and therefore,
Mhm.
like when Disney's saying like they're being puppeted, like mind controlled, it's a bit of from my understanding of what the events were, seems like an
Mhm.
exaggeration, but it's because they're not able to do what they actually
Okay.
want, right? Which is
Can
Verso, he wants to fucking die, and he doesn't want to
hold on.
do what she
Can
wants him
you
to
just
do.
play the
But
game? Can you just play the game, please? Like,
if I have to play the
please.
game to see who the fuck is right, okay, then maybe, okay, but I
You
don't think I
should
do.
no because it's a good game as well. Like it's like
I know,
regardless of who
I've
you
heard.
agree with, it's a
I'm
good
sure I would like
game.
it
Like just play it.
unironically,
Yeah, Jesus.
but I
Yeah,
prefer the other game with Jennifer
because
English as a main
to me,
character. Okay,
it's really hard. Like again, it's really hard like to debate someone who is just simply trying to steal Man for Destiny right now. Because it's just like I don't.
I'm not stealing
Yeah.
Destiny because I literally just said that I think he's exaggerating
No,
on
you
or
saw you
over-indexing on the puppeted
listen,
controlled
I get
point.
it.
Okay,
Okay, I get it. You
did
saw
you wait? You understand that my point was different than what
Destiny.
Destiny's saying,
Okay.
right?
No, actually, I view you as an extension of Destiny's will. You're a
Okay.
painted. You're a painted version of Destiny. Destiny
Oh
painted
shit,
you.
is
Yeah.
that so?
Just like how he painted me. Okay.
So you wouldn't let me kill myself then?
Probably not.
Wow, that's nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Play the game seriously.
How much is it? It's like regular
It's,
$60.
just wait until like a sale. Seriously, just wait until
Is
sale.
it gonna go on sale?
Maybe one day.
Okay, wait. How do you explain that Verso is really sad in the Mile ending?
What do you explain Verso is really sad? Because he's lived so long and he's gotten bored of life and he's gotten hopeless, and you know he thinks that nothing's going to change and nothing's going to change for the better because they live a miserable life, and he knows that everything is fake. So like from his perspective everything is fake, so therefore like he just doesn't want to live in a fake ass
And he's not
world.
allowed to die, right?
No, he should be allowed to die. That's the flaw
But
with
he's
Mael.
not though. But Mao doesn't let him die, right?
And that's Mael's flaw, yes. That's not good.
Okay, so that's bad.
Yeah, that is bad. But the argument wasn't over like whether or not Mael is gonna become like a fully
So
good
wait, so
character
in
or
her ending,
fully
the
yeah.
in her ending, the only good is that all of the Lumierans don't die.
Um yeah, that's right.
That's
Because-
the
because
only
the-
good. Okay. So when Disney says there's two arguments, there's the genocide or like versus the like story character development. Like what is this? What is the lesson being taught to us by the story? Mel's
Yeah.
ending would be a bad one, right?
Yeah, but I can understand why the director chose to have it being presented like that, right?
Well, yeah,
Because
you can understand
otherwise
that there
there
would
would
be
be
a
way
bad
too
ending
few
in the game.
cons. Yeah.
That doesn't make it not a bad ending. That was the whole point. Was that it's a bad ending, and the other one's better.
Okay, I mean, if you say that, but you got to play the game. Okay, seriously. All right, you so then you,
Wasn't
like
that the whole
only
point of the argument? Was which ending is better, and it's this one because this one's bad and this one is better.
No, hold
If
on.
you're
I don't
saying,
know
yeah,
why.
there's-
Hold on, hold on. I don't know why you're defending Destiny when you haven't even played.
I'm not
the
defending
game.
Destiny.
You
I think this
haven't-
argument's retarded.
No, but no,
I don't know
hold
why
on,
it's still
you
happening.
are. Hold on, hold on. You are defending Destiny, and you know you are. Okay, you saw Daddy get threatened. Okay, so you got to come in and defend him. Okay,
So true.
but you haven't played the game. That just tells me that you just came in here to defend Destiny, but you haven't really played the game. Even though Destiny has spent plenty of time already, like defending himself, and he doesn't need your help to defend him. So, like
I'm
to
already
me, at the
using
very
my
least,
help.
it just seems like you came in
I
to
didn't come in to
defend
help
Destiny.
him
I don't
because
know
he doesn't, right?
what.
You know that I know he doesn't need my help,
Mhm.
especially because I haven't played the game. So
No,
how the
no,
fuck
no,
would I
no.
help
You
him?
had
That's not why I
like
came in,
a
right? I
you know
didn't
you
come in
had
to
some
help him.
kind of
It's like
you had some
he
kind
doesn't
of
need my
gut
help, and I can't
instinct.
help him.
No, you had some kind of gut instinct that your spine was tingling. Okay,
My spine was tingling.
yeah.
Fun.
Okay, I gotta go to like. Listen, I gotta edit. All right.
Nice. Okay.
I gotta edit. Okay, I gotta end
Have fun
stream.
with your editing.
Okay, yeah. All right. See ya.
Maybe
Bye.
I'll
I
play
love
the
you.
game.
I love you. Okay, I love
All
you.
right. Bye.
Okay, bye. Love you. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've never been more relieved. I've never been more relieved to have Destiny and Zip Zip out of the call. Holy shit. Normally, I want Destiny to stay for longer, but holy shit, thank God. It was way past its due. Holy shit, dude. Like, we went way... Oh my god, we went way past the time in which it's been expired or some shit, okay? Like, the moment I started, like, trolling a little bit is probably when they should have read the room, but no, they can't read the room. What can I say?